else, because this is the Epiphany Eve edition of Paleocrat Diaries. So get ready. Make sure to have your coffee.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no channel for champions and chain no fear.
Good morning, everybody. What an amazing day it is to be alive. Super pumped about this episode. Hold on a second. There we go. I have a very special announcement for you today. It's super special. I don't even know how else to describe this. Let me see here. Let me see if I can go into. Is this it? No. That's not it. Okay, hold on. I got to get over to this screen here. Because we've heard your cry. We have totally heard your cry for this show to release some mugs, okay? Some mugs so that you can drink your coffee with us every single morning as we howl at the sun, straight to the dome, and literally it says straight to the dome. So it's an amazing mug. My wife put it together, and it's one of those iconic phrases. We're going to do ones like take a knee for Jesus Christ. We're going to do one that's never give up, another one that's keep on smiling. And so we're going to have a whole bunch of these awesome mugs that go along with the themes of the show. Now, here's the thing, though. This just went up, and it takes like 24 hours, I guess, for it to be active online. And so I have done you a favor, and I have put the link in the comment sections. And so you should be able to, any comment section you're in, okay, I'm pretty sure any comment section that you happen to be in, if you go ahead and you check that out, you should be able to click on that link and go directly there and get it even before the store is made public. We'll also, of course, put the store on the website, and that's at paleocratdiaries.com. But look, that is not the only one, okay? We've got this one. We've got this one here, and it's the wolf pack. And in fact, this was drawn, I think this one here may have been drawn by my son Ambrose, okay? And I've talked about Ambrose many times on this program, he's an amazing guy, an amazing little dude. But right there, it's got Paleocrat on one side, it's got the family there, it's got a wolf in the middle. He's howling at the sun, okay? He's praising the Lord, rejoicing because we have yet another amazing day to be alive. And at the bottom, it even says wolf pack. And that's an original drawing from Ambrose and the Team Tiny Dancer family. We're going to actually have Team Tiny Dancer mugs. You're gonna be able to get ones with Samantha, of course, the logo, the owl that we have, other drawings and things like that, paintings that the family's done. We'll go ahead and scan those, and you'll be able to get those as well. And each of the mugs comes with that. I don't know how I feel. Like my mom's gonna be like, it ruined it. It ruined it. My mom hates that. She's like, why do you use that? It goes back a long way, you know. And it's got the haters all around and everything, and doing the cry face. But I want to get one just like that with the circle where it's got that, you know, screaming into the microphone with the blue background and stuff. So we're gonna have that. It's gonna be up. But right now, you can go right now into the comment section, and you can find the link that should bring you straight to the mug. If not, let Ailey know, okay? Let Ailey know in the comment section, okay? So, and speaking of comment section, and by the way, you're going to see a lot more screenshots today. This right here, just to let you know, what you're seeing right now is not a screenshot. This is actually a window share, so I'm getting a little technical with you here. The idea, hold on a second. Let me make sure that I can go ahead and match this up here. Let me make sure I can match this up. Because, there we go, chat screen, here we go. I'm going to transform it so that you can see the whole thing. Let's see, fit to screen. Oh, that's garbage. Oh, well, whatever, who cares? So, all right, the idea is that when I use the window share, it uses a lot of power. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm going to just dump the videos and everything in, and we're going to see if it works. If it does, it's going to save me a lot of money. If it doesn't, old Papa Bear here is going to have to spend some loot. I don't want to spend any loot, man. I don't want to spend any money. So it's a little bit of a difference even in the makeup of the show and everything that you're seeing here. But what you're seeing is the comment section, okay? And so no matter where you're watching, you are able to comment, and I'm able to see it. You may not be able to see other people, but I'll be able to see it. I'll be able to see it. And so we'll talk about it throughout the show. I'll come back to this screen, the chat screen. So, for example, right here on YouTube, boy, you can't even really see that. Man, that's a bumming me out. Hold on a second. We're gonna do this. Check this out. I'm gonna get out of there. Bum. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that, man. I'm gonna be the little guy right now. Okay, making you big. You're big. Okay. So here's the thing. You can see right here, James. He's on YouTube. Praise Christ the King and pass the ammunition. Yeah, better believe it, dude. Better believe it. We're locked and loaded. We are locked and loaded on this show, bro. Every single day, man. Bethany, she's on Facebook. She says, "Happy Tuesday, Wolfpack. Happy Tuesday to you, Bethany. Always happy to see you. You are a bright ray of sunshine. You really are. You are a sunbeam." Oh, speaking of a sunbeam, I got my lady coming in. Look at this. Oh, and you gonna pour my coffee too? Oh, it's hot. Yeah, she says it's hot. I'm like, no, you are. You're hot. Of course it's hot. You're touching it, baby. Oh, ah! Oh my gosh. No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to see if she turned around. All right, I love you, baby. Yeah, that was mean. So, but yeah, so Bethany, she's on Facebook. Can't wait to spend time together today. Me too. In fact, I've been looking forward to it all day. It's kind of one of these things. It makes it hard to sleep, to be quite honest. Because what ends up happening, it's kind of like when you are going to Cedar Point, or Six Flags or something, that the day before Christmas, the night before, you're all restless in the bed. You can't sleep because all you're thinking about is the morning. That's kind of how I feel, every morning. Every morning to see you guys and girls. You got the wolf in the heart, the American flag, my super buff right arm, and a smiley face that is blushing. That's totally me, 100%. Ashwani says, praise the Lord. Yes, we do this every day. You got to praise the Lord. You got to praise the Lord because we're rejoicing again and again and again and again every single day because we're grateful. We're grateful not only to be alive, but to be alive for yet another day. And even beyond that it's not just another day, but it's a day that we can do amazing things for amazing purposes that have eternal consequences. And it's a profound thing. It's a heavy, weighty thing, but that's all the more reason to smile. So Angela says, I'm working on that photo of you screaming into the mic today. Yes, sounds good. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's got to go for the cup, right? We got to have that. So make sure. That's just a preview here of the comment section. Mike Keith, coffee. Oh, yes. And by the way, it was really good talking to you today, Mike. It was really good talking to you today. I really appreciate your friendship. I'm sorry for maybe all of the times where I may have been, off the rocker douchebag guy a long time ago. I was away from the Lord, man. Mike's a guy. He stayed the course, and he's we go back a long way. Pauper's Field. That's how old it is, man. It's back in the day. I was a roadie, man. Me and my buddy John, we'd hop in that van. We'd go to their concerts all the time. And I stand by it, man. I still say to this day that Mike Keith is probably the greatest bass player that I've ever seen in concert, that I've ever seen. And he can not only just play bass, sing at the same time, and he's got a fretless bass. I mean, the guy, not even barely having to look at it. The guy's just amazing on a bass guitar. And I'm really grateful to have him as a friend. And today was the first time in quite a while that we talked on the phone. And it was really, really cool. In fact, speaking of kind of cool, I think I should go back. Oh, no. Is it going to do the intro? Hold on. Oh, no, it's not. It's not going to do the intro. So, okay. So I wanted to show you this. Let's go ahead and take off this camera. And I'm going to put on that camera again. There you go. Look at that. So I wanted to share this because what this is, it's a picture from the Christmas Vigil. Okay. It's our Christmas Mass, the day before Christmas. And we've been doing family pictures in that position ever since we came back to the church, because we came back to the church after 8 years of atheism. We came back to the church on Christmas Eve, and it was a really It was a life transforming evening. We've never left. We kept going, and we're more involved than ever now, and in a really great place. And so we're really grateful for that. And every year we make sure to go back to that place and to get a picture, and that's the family picture that we got this year. And so I always love it. They make it so beautiful inside there. And look at little Wolfgang. He's looking down. You can't really see. He's looking down at everybody like, what's going on with you guys? In fact, let me see if I can zoom in on this particular picture. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do this. Here we go. We're gonna go ahead. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. I'm gonna make it even bigger. We're gonna get him real zoomed in. Look at his face. He's looking down at the kids. Look at him. He's looking down there like, what are you guys doing down there? What are you doing down there? But that's not the only picture I shared yesterday. And by share, I told you that I was going to begin doing social media and the website. The website portion was the work that was done behind the scenes this time with the cup and stuff. So it's still the website. Okay. And so it's going to be added together and it's going to be really great and everything else. But this right here is another picture. I shared that this morning on Facebook. In fact, I shared yesterday and this morning, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Parler. And so if you are on any of those platforms, make sure to find me at Paleocrat, Paleocrat, or on Facebook, it's just my Jeremiah.Bannister. You look that up, you can see me there. But this right here, this is from the nativity scene at the church. Okay, and so it's one of my things. I go back in this area. It's always beautiful, the lighting, the colors, and everything. That's just with my phone. I mean, I'm thinking, man, I need to bring the Canon sometime, take a picture of that. But I shared that and wished everybody a happy Epiphany Eve, and a merry 12th day of Christmas, because that's what this is. And yeah, I guess we're going to be taking down the Christmas tree. My wife was not very excited about the whole idea of, keeping it up for a very, very long time. I thought she would be, but apparently she is not. All right, let's go back to this. So, all right, as I said, you can go ahead and share this or post a comment, share a comment. I see it. I can see it in real time. I have another window down below that doesn't run on the screen or anything like that. And that way I can try to engage even in real time. So please make sure to comment away. Absolutely love it. The more comments, the better, in fact. And, I love talking news. I like talking, all these different topics and stuff. But the truth is, I really, really enjoy engaging with the audience. It's my favorite part of the show to do, and it's some of the best, good-hearted and intelligent, and may I say, attractive people on the planet. So all together, it is just an amazing group of people, and that's why we're a wolf pack. Okay, we are in this together every single day. We have regulars, we have newcomers, but no matter what, everybody's welcome, and we're really, really grateful for each and every one of you. So make sure to comment, make sure to like it. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, make sure to like it and share it. Yesterday, I think the video had like 40 shares. It was unbelievable. It was awesome. I mean, it was just on Facebook alone, and that's like the smallest one. Facebook doesn't get a lot compared to the other ones. Normally it hovers around, anywhere on my channel. It's real small. I mean, it might be, let's say, 80 people to 100-something people. And I'm laying my cards out there and saying that. Well, yesterday, across, I think, 4 platforms, it's like 1,500. And so really glad to see that, and tons of comments. And so really, really excited to see that, and just grateful for all of you. Precious Diane says, amen, Lord, have mercy on us. Amen. Totally true. Kyrie eleison. James says, wholesome family picture. I'm grateful for that, man. I love these. Every year, man, the family picture is just awesome. And you can see how they're getting older. Last year, we had another addition to the family. This year, we have another addition to the family. And so we went from 3, our first Christmas, and then we had 4, and now we've got 5. And so lots and lots of kids. I don't know, man. I don't know if we're going to be cranking out another one before next Christmas. It's always a possibility. It's one of those things. It's one of those things, man. You don't slow down. You keep rocking, man. You keep rocking. And so, yeah, Mike says, what a wonderful picture. Again, thank you very much. Another comment. Lordy, those kiddos are so stinking cute. It's totally true. My kids aren't home right now. They're at school, so I can say this. A couple of them have done modeling pictures before. What was it for, man? What's the juice? Old Orchard. Old Orchard Juices. If you went to their website, there was like a thing like once the whole month, right? So for the entire month, they had their pictures on the banner, the top banner of the page there for Old Orchard Juices. He had my daughter, just absolutely gorgeous, and then Athanasius. He did 2 of them. He doesn't like one of them. One of them's real cute. They're both cute. I mean, they're amazing pictures, very attractive children. But the thing is that the first one was him wearing some like workman's gloves and stuff, and it looked like he was, doing some gardening and everything, and he's taking a sip of some juice. But the other one, he's kind of like the Fruit of the Loom grape guy. He's completely surrounded, like covered in these purple balloons that are like grapes. He's got a little hat and stuff. Looks like a stem, and he wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of that one. I don't know why. I mean, you'd think, look, that's, in my closet, that's my wardrobe. I think probably 80%. I'd probably be like Inspector Gadget, having the same outfit, the grapefruit of the loom thing going on every day, if my wife would let me get away with it. Thank God she won't, right? Thank God she won't. And by the way, that's fake news. She'd let me. All right, here. One person said, I'm not being rude, but I think you need help. I'm not being rude, but I think that you're ugly. Yeah, it's one of those things like, being passive aggressive, you got to be a little bit more artistic about being passive aggressive, because your art form for this is kind of like, one of those short bus kindergarten classes. And so you got to do better. If you're going to troll a troll, you got to do better than that. You know what I'm saying? You need help. I got you good, man. Dude, seriously, high school's calling. They want their jokes back. It's not even high school, man. It's like 7th and 8th grade. Not even 7th and 8th. Dude, I'm going to keep going back. I think you need help. Okay, I think that my 5th grade kids are into that. Talking that way. That age and stuff. So, well, whatever. I hear you, man. I hear you. But look, if that's the way you start your day, and your day starts out, and you're like, you know what, man? You need help, buddy boy. You need help. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up. You couldn't even finish your sentence, dude. You couldn't even finish your sentence. How terrible is that? Shut up. You believe in... you struggling there, chimp? You struggling? You believe in a fictional book. What, you don't you don't like fiction? You don't like fiction? And by the way, you don't understand this guy, just so that everybody knows. I don't just want to smear the queer on this topic here. But the thing is that what he's talking about is the idea that the Bible is a fictional book. Maybe he's a mythicist. That's really great. That's really clever. And look, I like myth. I love myth. I promote the classics on here. But you don't really actually know how to distinguish between various categories of literature. So if you're going to be so sloppy with doing that, it's kind of a waste of my time. It's like people who say, well, the Bible is a fairy tale. Well, you don't really understand the structure of a fairy tale then. You need to take some, literary criticism classes or something. You need to have a better understanding of genre and style and form, because you're talking out of your rear end. But hey, we all know the Bible's fake. I love it. Don't you love it when you hear people say, we all know? Right? It's like Twitter spoke and Twitter wasn't having it. Dude, you are digging a hole to China. You are digging a hole to China, looking dumber and dumber by the comments. So I'm going to move on. I don't like beating up dead horses. And so if anybody comes out, trotting one out, acting like it's a big parade, and you're looking and going, yeah, that guy's carrying a dead horse. He may not know it. I'm not going to go up there and start clubbing that thing. It's a waste of my time, man. No, yeah, it's really clever blaspheming Jesus. Yeah, it's a really sad thing. And by the way, we should pray for this person, and not just poke fun, right? Saying F Jesus Christ. It's one of those things that's obviously demonic. The person obviously has deeply rooted sins. And that's one of those things, people don't like to hear that. They don't like to hear that your sin speaks. Okay, so it's like, your sin is showing kind of thing. You're wearing a belly shirt and your sin is showing. And that's kind of what's going on here. So if somebody if somebody's lashing out and somebody is saying something, like, it's one thing for them to say, I don't believe that the Bible is entirely accurate. That's somebody can make that claim. We can debate that. But when somebody comes on and says, F Jesus Christ, that's like guttural. That's like cavemen, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And it's sin. It's that demonic, and that's all that is. And so, again, when people do that, instead of just piling on, take a minute, do a sign of the cross, pray for the person and let them know you actually care, and you hope that they take a knee for Jesus Christ, because it actually matters. And if they don't, there's going to be dire consequences. And so it's not for me. But at the same time, you can rest assured that kind of language there is not going to fly in front of the throne. Let's put it that way. So you got, let's see here. 80 to 100 is a lot. Imagine that many people in your house don't underplay it. Talking about the viewership. Oh, yeah, and that's just one platform, too, by the way. That's just one platform. And you got to kind of view it that way, man. Especially when so many of them are sharing. Especially when so many of them are commenting. You say, man, it's a good thing, dude. I'll take that any day. I will take that any day of the week. Latin Patriot, dear Father God, thank you for your son, Jesus Christ. Please bless our country and the world. Help the world to repent from sin. By the way, thank you, Latin Patriot, for offering that prayer. All righty. Look, we got to get cranking, man. We got to get cranking. So we're going to go to the fun stories here, man. We're going to do that first. Have a good time. And remember, you can keep commenting in there. I can see it in real time. Okay, so I can see as you're commenting. I can see it scrolling through this, scrolling down. I'm not going to engage every single time. Sometimes we got to scroll back up. But either which way it goes, we try to keep track and keep up, and we'll of course return back to that at the midpoint of the show. So all right, here we go. All right. So okay. Warning: this footage contains content that viewers may find distressing. Oh, okay. First of all, I gotta say something. I wasn't going to, but my wife told me it'd be a good idea. This is a family-friendly show for the most part, right? We don't get into risky business and stuff. And I've said before that the shows that I do, there's different ones. I'm a contributor every now and again over at Meaning of Catholic, and if you watch that, you're gonna see that it is way different than this show. In fact, sometimes I play that intro, that highlight reel, and you'll hear me talk, and I'm a lot calmer. I'm not goofing around as much. It's a more serious tone, but I have to wear, there's a dress code, so whenever I'm on that show, I've got to wear a tie, either a suit coat or a vest, something like that. Bow tie or tie. I don't know about bolo tie. I thought about asking. Am I allowed to wear a bolo tie, bro? Is that what you're telling me? And so you got to do that. And that show begins with this kind of classical sound. It's got chanting in the background, religious imagery, and then you begin with a prayer and sign of the cross, and that's how you begin the show. That's way different than this show. This show is a morning show that ends up becoming, this crazy afternoon political talk show, basically, is what happens. So it morphs, right? It morphs by howling at the sun. That's the transition right there, for the wolf pack, in fact. And so it's one of those things. And so I have that. But I also have paleo cheese, and paleo cheese is with my buddy. He's not a Roman Catholic. Okay. He's a Protestant guy. We've been friends for a very long time. We have many disagreements, but we have a lot of things in common. He's one of the best friends that I've ever had in my entire life. And so we decided we're going to do this show. Well, one of the ideas behind it was we're just going to talk about whatever, and we're going to talk about movies. And sometimes those movies or the interviews that we do with people are, for no better choice of terms, adult humor. Okay. So it's not gutter stuff, but it's adult humor. It's not, I would not normally show some of those things to kids. And we have a lot of people on from different perspectives and different places in life, and we don't have a code that tells them they can't swear. Essentially, it functions kind of like the Joe Rogan experience, but without the weed, without the weed and the DMT tripping and all that stuff, okay? And so that it's one of those things where we just allow the conversation to happen, and sometimes it gets, man humor. You get three guys in a room and they're joking around about something, and it turns into that. Well, yesterday I played a clip of the show, which the clip itself was one of those things where it's a long form conversation having to do with a dad who's trying to figure out a way to confront an otherwise difficult topic that a lot of parents struggle with. I don't. Okay. I don't struggle with this conversation having to do with the birds and the bees. Okay. And I'm not going to do it here. We're not going to lay it all out on the line here, guys. I'm telling you now. Okay. But the idea that, that there's a lot of people who do, and he's one of those. He wasn't entirely sure, and he was trying to think, how can I do this? Because he didn't want to just simply leave it up to, school and stuff like that. So he wanted to be able to teach it. Well, he put together a movie, and it was cute and clever, and it involved straw and a noodle, spaghetti noodle, an uncooked one and a cooked one, and I'll let you fill in the dots. And I made a joke. That in hindsight, I thought, it's one thing if you're in a room with some dudes, okay, and you're just chilling and being guys. It's another thing maybe if you've got a show. And it's another thing if you've got a show and you're showing a clip of it on this show. And so I've always kept those things apart and said, because we have kids, seriously, kids who watch the show. Now, nothing that was said was necessarily vulgar. In fact, it was scientific terms to use for what was going on, but it was in the framework of a joke. And I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I wanted to say that I should have done better about that. Not only with the editing for the show, because, we missed out on stuff that was really funny in that conversation because the video went on, but I just stopped it. But to sit there and say, that we missed out on those, on the rest of the clips that were there that were hilarious. But more than that, to be more cognizant of the fact that it's not just, even though we're in a room and it was pre-recorded and everything else, that is bound to go live and be seen by other people. And sometimes I make mistakes too, and I should be better about joking around about certain things. And so I just wanted to say that to you. I thought about it. I'm like, these are my diaries, These are my, and I want to say this too. I'm saying all of this not even out of, any kind of PRs. Like there was no accident with this. Nobody reached out to me and was mad about it. Okay, so there was no demolition. There was no cancel culture from the Catholic right. There was none of that where they're like, I can't believe you said that on the air. It was none of that. It was just something that was bearing on my heart. And I thought about it. I said, it's a personal show. This is me being able to talk to you, being able to say things that I deal with too. And maybe even just to encourage you too, that if you find yourself doing things like that, things like, rash talk, vain judgment, things like that, crudeness, where maybe it's not a wise decision to be this way, that you're not alone. And that part of the battle isn't just knowing. Knowing's half the battle. The other half is beating the snot out of that bad habit. And so part of that is laying it on the line and telling you. And so I hope you guys forgive me for that. And I'm really grateful that I assume you, in fact, already did. And you may be like, dude, if you didn't say anything, I wouldn't have known. And I say, that's okay. It's okay. No matter what, I'm glad I did it. I mentioned it to my wife too. So, okay. Warning. The following footage contains content that viewers may find distressing. I've been told it's not anything that's going to be, graphic and stuff like that. But we're going to see here. We're going to find out. We're going to find out what's going on with this. Oh no! Okay, hold on a second. I was looking down at the volume. I'm looking down at the volume and I'm like, oh, what's this thing? And I'm not understanding what this is because I'm focused on the part on the bottom, which for some reason I thought was a beak. Oh no, it's not a beak. It's like a chicken or something, dude. Is that a spider eating a chicken? What is happening here? Is that a hawk? What kind of bird is this? And look at that spider. Look at that spider, dude. This is not good. Who thought I would want to watch this, by the way? I've got some really sick people watching the show. I've had people send me videos where people are mukbanging spiders and stuff, where you see snakes slithering up the side of a house or coming in a toilet, all that kind of jazz. Super nasty stuff. I don't know why people think that's funny. I don't know why they think it's funny. They're like, oh man, we got to send this to Paleocrat. He's going to love it. No! No, I will not love that. Look at this. How could you love this? How could you love that spider? I mean, and obviously, what side of the Great Animal Uprising do you think that spider's on? Because I have a feeling that that bird was one of our own. The bird was probably one of our own, one of our allies. And look, he's just feeding it. This guy, whoever's owning this thing, or is it a zoo? What is this? Ugh. Oh, it's just a slow-mo version of this. Just a slow-mo version of something nasty. And dude, it looks like it's got fingernails. It looks like it's got fingernails. Is this guy? Oh, and his name is what? Snaky? Snaky? And dude, look at that. Look at that toothless soy face, man. What is happening with Snaky over here? What is happening with Snaky, dude? CF in the comments says it's a tarantula eating a parrot. Dude, it's not a parrot. No way. No way, dude. It just says tarantula eating a whole bird. I don't see anything about no parrot. And parrots are green, dude. Parrots are green. They're supposed to be. Yeah. In the comments, see spider eating bird, grab shotgun. Dude, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, dude. Well, if it was a pigeon, no. Because we know that the pigeons are not on our side. And we know that because the pigeons are getting all of the details on the spy museum. Remember that? Remember that? It had that pigeon in the spy museum with the camera around its neck. We're on to the game, dude. We're on to the game. But it's just I think it's just the pigeons, though. But this guy, what's wrong with this dude? Oh, no. Oh, he's handling a snake. Okay, yeah. Oh, and he's trying to look all tough, like he's got a past with that, tattoo on his arm. You're not tough, man. You're not tough. Oh, dude, that's cute. Kind of, in a creepy way. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, no one would expect cats and bald rats to be best of friends in any household. But in his, it is. Until the cat decides he's had enough and eats them. And when that happens, it's on like Donkey Kong. It's going to be super rough. And by the way, is that a Siamese cat? Is that what I'm looking at right there? Because if so, man, I'm a huge cat person, I love cats. I don't love this at all. Like, what I'm seeing here is not good. Something is wrong with people. Something is wrong with people if they're like, oh, you know what? I think I'd like a spider, a fuzzy, crazy-looking spider with weird color designs to just, walk on my hand and stuff. And I'm like, bleh, bleh. No. No, dude. Oh, he's popular locally, and he's been on TV programs. Do you guys really believe he's popular? Do you really believe that? Does that look like a place of somebody who's popular? You tell me. I don't know about that. And, maybe he's popular with like a certain club at the high school. You know what I'm saying? Like the movie Frog. Have you ever seen the movie Frog? Right? That's that with when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That song, and it's got the little dude. It's the frog that's really a prince and everything. And it's got what's her name? Kind of crazy, man. The mom from The Shining. She was also olive oil on Popeye with Robin Williams. She's in that movie, but that movie Frog, it's a family-friendly film. You know what I'm saying? It's family-friendly. And it ends on a good note. It's a charming, very predictable movie and stuff. But this kind of looks like his house. Maybe Snaky is, in fact, Arlo from the movie Frog. Is it possible? Is it possible? Oh, someone in the comments, if that Tiger King guy is popular, then this guy could be. Yeah, but the Tiger King guy has a mullet. Tiger King guy has a mullet. And this right here kind of looks like, what's his name from Lost, man? What's his name from Lost? The bald guy that couldn't walk, and all of a sudden he could walk, on the island and stuff. And kind of looks like him with, not as many teeth and lots of soy. And I don't mean to be too rude to Snaky. Maybe Snaky's a good guy. Maybe Snaky, in fact, is watching the show. And if he is, I hope he understands the shtick, because it's on thick right now. I hope you get it, man. I hope you get it. Oh, okay. So I said yesterday we were going to talk about this. Maniac squirrels terrorize Queens neighborhood. This is wicked bad, guys. This is wicked bad. Squirrels have attacked residents of Rego Park for weeks now. The last assault finally drew blood. How much blood? How much blood are we talking? You know, my kids, they'll be like, Bubba, I got a cut. I need a Band-Aid. And I look at it, and you got to, take a microscope. You got to take, one of those microscopes and zoom in on it. Magnifying glass. You're like, I'm not seeing it. It's there. And they're pointing at it, and then they like shift their finger because they can't see it, but they swear it's bleeding. You're like, that thing? Man, goodness gracious. Okay, I thought it was like a freckle or something. And so the thing is it that kind of a scratch? Is that what brought, the world to a halt over, or at least Rego Park? Is that what brought Rego Park to a halt? Was a little easy scratch? Or was it one of those scratches that's like, on the body of the hero of the film and the people around him in Kung Pao, because you've got Betty with the swinging the chain and the iron hand throwing it and like that. And it's looking pretty hit in the back, pretty raw, pretty cut up. So if it's like that, like the iron claw or like the claw on the Bruce Lee movie, right? What is it? Is it Enter the Dragon or Return to the Dragon? Which one is it, man? Where the guy's got the hand, he can twist it off and stuff. And he got that bare hand. That guy. The cut across the face. Was it a cut like that? Because if it wasn't, don't talk to me. And don't write about it. Don't waste my time. We're going to find out. Anytime there's a story about a small furry animal going after a person, the answer is always rabies. Is it really? Is it really always rabies? This, I think, might be a great amount of misdirection. We have to be on guard, guys, because I don't know who wrote this. Who wrote this? Category Cool Animals. This is by Cormac Evans. I know nothing about Cormac Evans. I don't know his allegiance in the Great Animal Uprising of 2020. I have no clue. So we don't know exactly what's going to go on with this. Is he deflecting? Is he lying to get us off track? Is this just simply, one of those things to, kind of muddy up the waters as we've been clearing them? What is it? We're going to find out. Because I'm telling you now, a small furry animal's going after a person is not always because of rabies, dude. What else would make a creature take on someone so much bigger who has opposable thumbs? I don't know. Global domination. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about that? I doubt you have, Cormac. I doubt you have. Or if you have, you are really, really on my naughty list right now, bro. Big time. The story out of Queens is a friendly reminder that victory against wild animals is never assured. That's another symbol, guys, that this is New World Order plot. I think this guy's definitely New World Order. Corona is the crown. We've got all the talk of Megan, right? Heron is what we've been calling him. Heron. Yeah. So we've got all the imagery of the royalty, right? We've got all the imagery of that. And where is this? Oh, coincidentally, Queens? I don't think it's a coincidence. There's no way. Why else would it be included? Friendly reminder that victory against wild animals is never assured. They're preparing us for failure. A group of squirrels decided they're sick of the place on the food chain and are going after people in the Rego Park neighborhood. Now, this one is not one of them. And this is why you don't know if you can believe it. This squirrel's obviously been lifting weights. What's going on with this? And guys, how do you feel about the whole squirrels and where are they on all of this? Are they on our side? What do you say? But it's obvious this squirrel's buff. This squirrel is just ripped, dude. He's like the Arnold of the squirrel world. The furry brutes have been attacking people for weeks at this point. It sounds straight up adorable until you see local WCBS TV stations footage that aired along with the story. It's graphic. Here's the thing. Who thinks it's adorable to be attacked by little furry brutes? Who is this person? What weird world is this person living in? They're like, oh, that sounds adorable. You were attacked by them? Oh, yeah. Oh, man, you should have seen it. So cute. So cute. Smiley face emoji. No way, dude. No way. And not when they're looking like Arnold. No way. Impossible. The latest victim is Michelin Frederick, who fended off a squirrel on the stoop of her home. Is it Michelin? Michelin? I don't really want to call her the Michelin woman. I don't know how I feel about that. Frederick wasn't the first resident. On 65th Drive, the squirrels attacked. They've been rushing and pouncing outside several homes, but the neighborhood so far had been able to shoo them away. That is a very powerful technique. Okay, if you don't have, an AR-15, if you don't own a bazooka, if you don't own a tank, then shooing them away is the next best option. This time, I can just imagine the tank, dude. And the wife's like, why are you getting the tank out? Why? I'm not seeing the apocalypse. And he's like, look out there. And she's like, oh my gosh, it's the Arnold squirrel. Get the tank out, baby. Get the tank out. This time, the people weren't so lucky. And Frederick didn't survive the fight unscathed. Blood covers the snow in front of her New York home, and her hand sustained many puncture wounds from the little guy. Okay, but did she need stitches? She says, we're wrestling in the snow. What? Dude, okay, I don't mean to throw the ladies under the bus on this one, but dude, wrestling with the squirrel? No. I mean, come on. Picking up, twirling around on the ground? What kind of wrestling are you talking about? And there's blood everywhere. And my finger's getting chewed. And it won't let go. Frederick told the Associated Press. Eventually, it just stopped. And there I was, a big bloody mess. Well, yeah, you were wrestling a squirrel. You were wrestling a squirrel. How does this even happen? Killer squirrels are a low priority until they're not. Oh, this is where it gets mixed signals, guys. This is where it gets mixed signals. Because it began as like, oh, fun and adorable. And oh, it's not very common. And oh, it was just a little attack that got scratches. Then it was a bloody mess. And now we're talking killer squirrels? Given that New York, like the rest of the world, is dealing with COVID, it seems like they're not terribly concerned about homicidal squirrels. Dude, okay, I'm listening. They advised the neighborhood to hire a trapper on their own. But these squirrels aren't just mean. They're clever. And the traps remain empty. The squirrels have also attacked Frederick's neighbors. Leisha Wang. What? Leisha Wang? Don't attack Leisha. This is unbelievable. It's one thing to attack Michelin Woman. It's one thing to attack Michelin Woman. But Leisha Wang? A squirrel attacked her, apparently, as she walked up to her home. Jumped on her back before launching an assault on her arm. And, oh, I was screaming, she told the CBS affiliate. Crazy! Imagine going home, though. Do-do-de-do. And then all of a sudden just, whee! And it lands on you like, ah! Freaking out. It's like, what's the video, man, of the bird? What bird is that? It's going to drive me nuts if I don't know what bird this is. There was a woman on a bike. I think it was like New Zealand or Australia or something like that. And she's driving around, or she's riding her bike around, and she's got a helmet on. And there are these birds that just attack, dude. Wicked bad. It's like super, super bad. Okay? And so I don't know. I forget what it's called, though, man. What kind of bird that is. They're notorious for it. They will attack you big time. They'll put people, put signs up and stuff to say, watch out for this particular kind of bird because it's wicked bad. But the video, she's recording it, and man, you can see that bugger coming. She can't. But that bugger's like swooping around, and blam, 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 right on the back of her helmet. She's like, get it away. Oh, man, it's great. It is awesome, man. But yeah, imagine that thing coming at you, dude, attacking you like that. The Ving family lives next door to Frederick, and we're recording a video of the squirrel in their mailbox when it attacked. Oh, okay. Maybe they're TikTokers, though. The Vings, I don't know about the Vings. I'm not gonna defend the Vings. I don't, I'll defend Leisha Wang. I'm on the border with Michelin Woman, but the Ving family, no. I just can't. I cannot bring myself to defend them. The first time they disengaged peacefully from the animal. The second time it made a rush to get into their house, presumably intent on carrying out its murderous plot. They thwarted that attack as well. Dude, you tell me, is this person totally ripping off my shtick? Because it's gotten to this. Think about it. Think about it, man. Got it down at the bottom. Maybe this is a message to us, guys, because it's the inverted pyramid. They know that most people are only going to read the top. They don't go further down. Only the people who are really serious about these articles are going to read further down, and the further down we go, we find all of a sudden a whole bunch of information having to do with squirrels rushing to get into your house with the presumed intent of carrying out a murderous plot. We got to hire this person. We got to hire this writer and say, we need you to write animal uprising stories. Because this is great. I don't know. Apparently, squirrels rarely, get bit, get vaccinated. See, there it is again, though. That's so if the pyramid goes way down and the really important information has been shuffled down here for secret reasons, then here's the thing we've got, man. What I thought was a person on our side might in fact be signaling to the New World Order that the squirrels were not successful and that they need different kinds of training. And one of the things that they're encouraging about this is obviously a dog whistle, is to get vaccinated. Oh, why? Because apparently squirrels rarely get rabies. Why would you say get vaccinated? And even less frequently, transmit it to people. Worth noting, while you're deciding which wild animal to interact with, feral cats are among the most... Oh, and they're going to bust on cats? I'm done with this, dude. I am so divided over this person. If I have to conclude this, and it breaks my heart, this person who wrote this, what's the name? Who is this? Cormac Evans. Cormac Evans, Cool Animals. Over at Odie. Yeah, man, not cool. I have a feeling, dude, I'm on to you. I'm on to you, bro. Yeah, we're going to take you on big time. We're going to take you on. Okay, speaking of taking people on. Speaking of taking people on, here we go. We got to keep moving forward. We got to keep moving forward here. Okay. Let me I'm going to see if I can make this actually bigger, and then I have to make myself bigger. Boom. Oh, look at that. Look at that, guys. Yeah. So okay. They say we see on clouds what we most want. Is that true? Do people say that? I don't know if I've actually ever heard that. Have you? That it's like, oh, well, whatever you see in a cloud is what you want the most. Maybe. What do you see, babe? And he's all looking up. What does he see? I see us here together forever. And he's all sweating. He's all sweating. Then she reaches over. She's loving on him. Dude, okay, he said the right thing. What is he really thinking? It takes only 3.5% of the population to overthrow a tyrannical government. Oh my gosh, dude. How true is that, though? No offense, you know. I don't know. If I was out there, you know, with my lady, and I'm laying out on the grass, looking up at the clouds and stuff, I don't know if I really would be thinking about that statistic and, you know, overthrowing tyrannical governments and stuff. I think about that a lot, though. I do think about that a lot. And we talk about that. But I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd be doing that while I'm, you know, with my lady. Don't know about that. All right.
Told him I was going to kill him, all that.
Okay, hold on. This is a video. I'll put this one back up for now. This is a video of, apparently there was a burglar that came into this Husky boy's home and was doing some wicked crap, I guess, and was threatening and everything else. And just his story, I've been told the story is dope. And so we got to hear it. Here we go.
Told him I was going to kill him, all that, with a gun if he didn't get out of my house. When I pulled the gun out on him, I guess he didn't think it was a real gun because he didn't worry about it. He just kept on walking. When he was coming downstairs and told me he was going to kill me and F you, all that, I shot through a hamper that he was carrying. And it was a full metal jacket bullet.
Oh, it's a full metal jacket. A full metal jacket bullet. Listen to that little dude, man.
Like a little baby.
He was crying like a baby. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious, dude. He's crying like a baby. Yeah, but you know what? Bravo to that kid, man. Bravo to that kid. And he's just sitting there saying, man, look at how dope this little dude is. He's sitting there. He's in a terrible situation. The family's all freaking out. He knows how to shoot a gun. Okay, he knows how to load that bugger up. Full metal jacket. He knows how. He's in command. And the dude's like, oh, what you gonna do, boy, with that little gun? Oh, and he's like, blam! And the guy's like, oh, he's on the ground. He's weeping like a little baby. Oh my gosh. Oh. And it's like, dude, you threatened to kill somebody. You broke into somebody's house, champ. Oh, man, dude. I thank God for little guys like that. He's a champion. He's a champion. He's our champion of the day here, I think. He's definitely a contender. No doubt about it. Okay, moving on. Me giving my parents a valid argument. Okay, that, by the way, that rarely ever happens. You know, I guess it does when you get older. Like, there are some valid arguments, but, you know, yeah, it doesn't work. Oh, because I said so. Yeah, that's the freight train. It's like, I'm making a really good argument, and then blam, just goes straight through, man. Just goes straight through because I said so. And by the way, just so that everybody knows, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the because I said so argument, right? It reveals something that is true, and that is the hierarchy within the home and the authority of the parent and the responsibility, the duty on behalf of the child to be respectful and to obey, in fact, right? To submit, to submit. You know, but if you just simply leave it at because I said so, that may have to be the escape hatch you've got if they're not being respectful. But if they're being respectful and if they're using a valid argument, you gotta I think it is wise to be able to explain to them or sit down and talk it through with them. And if it comes down to it and they're just like, well, you know, I hear you, but I want to do it, you can pull out the because I said so. You can do that, man. You can do that. Okay. Me trying to give life advice to anyone. Oh, okay. There's a bump here, so please watch your step. Yeah. Oh, how often, man? How often do we have this? Especially parents. Let's be real. Especially parents. How often have you had to tell the kids and say, look, I don't want you to have to learn the hard way. There's no reason to. Okay? There's no reason for you to learn that, you know, doing crazy addictive drugs is a bad idea. You don't need to learn that for yourself. And everybody kind of knows that. You know, I know people would be like, yeah, but, you know, they experience it on their own. I'm like, well, you know, what about rape? Well, no, not that. You're like, oh, you know, murder. Oh, well, no, you know what I mean? There's limits. I said, well, okay, then let's debate the limits here. You know, encourage them not to do the douchebaggery that maybe you did when you were a young, strapping young man or a lass. Yeah, that way they don't, you know, they don't trip over themselves, trip over that little crack, right? That way they don't do that. It's here. And in the comments, Barbara says, good morning, it's 10:20, and I'm just getting to tune in. Hello from Wisconsin. Hello to you. Glad you're tuning in. Another one, there is no world that disgusting 8-legged creep is an ally. Okay, you're talking, yeah, there's no world where that spider is one of our buddies. No, I agree. Totally 100%. Totally 100%, man. Let's see here. Oh, somebody assured me squirrels in Queens don't play. Look, do you know about that? You know, I'd like to know more, man. If you've got more stories on the squirrels from Queens, dude, they ain't messing around, man. They ain't messing around. Oh, my gosh, dude. Yeah, CF says, sounds like bog int to me. What is that? What is bog int, man? What is that? BOG? Is it BOG International? What are you saying, man? What are you saying? And by the way, if you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to share it. Here in just a very short period of time, we're going to go ahead and transition to the Wolfpack song and get cranking on some serious topics. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. All right, here. Here, I did ones. People are gonna be like, dude, why did you do that? You know, because I've talked about animals already, man. Because I've talked about animals already. Okay, well, I guess it's in my face. I've got to do it. Okay, show me. I think it's not bad. Look. Delete it. Dude, okay, there is a lesson to be learned here. And this is obviously one of our friends, okay? This is one of our friends. Okay, we like the cheetahs. We like the cheetahs. They're definitely an ally. But here's the thing. Look at that smile, right? Doesn't it this is one of those ways where a meme can actually teach numerous different lessons at the exact same time. On the one hand, it plays into an assurance of the good guys in the world that cheetahs are on our side in the great animal uprising. The other thing is that, you know, is making fun to bring out a point in that so often we will take a selfie, which in fact is quite good, and we'll look at it and go delete it, and then we'll do a couple more shots, and by a couple, I mean like 20. And when you're, hold on. Oh, wait. And you do chick over again. And then you look at it and you go through all of them. And how often have you done this? I can say it from experience myself. Okay. I'm not just dogging you guys. I'm saying from experience, 20, 30 times, barely making any difference in the face, barely shifting things around. And at the end of the day, at the end of the whole thing, guess what? The first one was the best one. How often? How often does this happen? You tell me. You tell me. Because I think it happens all the time. I think it happens all the time. This is forwarded from Myth vs. Reality. Okay. Encourage men to pee sitting down. I'm already against this. I don't even need to read the rest of it. I know what this is. Encourage men to pee sitting down to be more inclusive of, ladies who are pretending to be men. No. That's not the way God made it. And you know what? It's one of those privileges, and in fact, at this point, a right, and even a responsibility, I would dare say, for men not to do this. If you're somebody, for one, let's just be honest. Nobody is watching this show who, when they're off the show, they're like, you know what? I have been really going to the bathroom sitting down a lot because I'm trying to be more inclusive of trans men. So I'm preaching in a way to the choir. I know it. But look at this level of insanity. What is wrong with people? And look at the guy. Look at that dude. Look at his smile. What a wuss. What a beta, dude. This guy's beta cucking it out like crazy. What a weirdo. And look at him, he looks real to me. I think he's a real guy. He's a real guy. You know him if you saw him. Let's put it that way. You know him. Oh, what does it say? We need an ELE, extinction level event. Yeah, we need an extinction level event, man. We do. We're at a place that is just terrible. Just terrible. What the? Why so many toilet things, man? I said sorry earlier in the show talking about, well, I don't want to be showing, a bunch of kind of gutter humor stuff. And now we're showing a bunch of toilet things and spiders eating birds and stuff, dude. And what do they do? They're facing off, dude. Look at the intensity. Look at the sweat. Look at the sweat, man. Look at the veins. Oh, the intensity of that. I would never go to that bathroom. Never. And if I did, it might be my kids or something. But I can't. That is not a good. If I walked into a bathroom and I saw that, I would turn around and leave. I would pull a third world thing and just go dig a hole in the back of the restaurant. So what I would do, man, I go behind a dumpster. Man. I'd pull the homeless guy technique and be like, I am literally, or otherwise known as San Francisco technique. Just go and just poop, I'm not doing that. There's all sorts of wrong happening with that. There's all sorts of wrong, man. What the heck is this? Oh, polar bear. Doesn't even polar bear. Hold on. Oh, and it just went away. What the heck, man? Oh, I accidentally deleted that one. Oh, no. That is such a bummer. Okay, but what was it? What was that? I think you know what I think it was? I think it was making fun. Let me go back to Maine here. I think he was making fun of Netflix and how on Netflix they're doing all these documentaries where they're making somebody who is a historically white person a black person. Okay, and so they're doing it. In fact, what was it? CNN yesterday was like, all these channels are reimagining the past if it wasn't the past. And it's dangerous for the same reason. Look, we're so deep here. CNN is surface level nonsense. It's literally the kiddie pool. It's what it is. It's the kiddie pool. And so you tune into this show and they're at the level where they think it's awesome to reimagine history. And in fact, you can anticipate that that's going to be the expectation. And as such, it's going to get to the place where as it's expected, at first it's accepted, right? It's tolerated at first. Then it will be accepted, okay, in a more robust sense. After it's accepted, it is going to be celebrated. and it's going to be expected. Okay, once it's celebrated, it's already at that point, even simultaneously, it's going to be expected of other people because they don't just like that they can celebrate on their own. They require that you buy into the very thing that they are celebrating. And in fact, what they're celebrating is their dominion over sanity, their domination, not dominion. Dominion belongs to God. The domination, the tyranny, right? The deconstruction of culture and civilization, the deconstruction of these things is what they celebrate. And then they demand, and then they'll start punishing and everything else. It follows a cycle. You can see it. You can see it. It's not original. It's not new. Okay, it's very, very old. So we're going to see more and more and more of that, guys. You're already hearing pop up the idea that, Ireland was actually all black. It's what it was. Everybody's black in Ireland. The real Irish people are black Muslims. I mean, that's just blacks and Muslims. That's just the original crew that was there. That's the most authentically British thing in the world. And it's like, dude, are you serious? What is wrong with these people? And what's wrong with these people is that they hate reality because reality reflects the God of reality and the God of nature. And they loathe that. They loathe having to look into that and see their true selves being in the image of God. So they want to reimagine everything, which is why they're constantly playing that song every year now. Every year they're playing that stupid song, Imagine, right? Right out of the gate. Imagine there's no heaven. And they're like, I've been doing it. I've been trying. I've been trying so hard. But there's still too many people. There's too many people who are accepting of heaven. They accept hell. We need to stop that. Dead in its tracks. Or else, they're going to have that conviction thing going on. And so they need to sear their conscience. They need to sear their conscience. And that's a lot to say, man, about, the black bear being the polar bear meme. But it's true. That's the depth of it. And we've talked, by the way, not just the dangers of doing that and how that kind of thing evolves in space and time, but also we've gone even deeper and talked about the historical debate, the debate between historians that has to do with the fixing up the quality, right? Updating it, mastering it and everything, the quality of old videos and old pictures, and that it actually takes artwork. It takes, it's not just like, well, we're brightening a color here, brightening color there. They're filling in things too. And so it's a creepy thing that's going on with that. And a lot of people want to see remastered videos. Look, I do too sometimes. I do too, but I have to know that when I do that, that there's an actual legitimate scholarly debate that is not only intelligent, but is not meaning any ill will. It's not just being mischievous. It's saying this is actually something that before we jump in, we got to consider. We've got to consider it, And so it's just one of those things. Okay. So, all right, look, we got to get our coffee ready. It's that time of the show. It's that time of the show. You got to get it ready because we are going to howl at the sun like we do each and every day. And for those who may just be tuning in right now for the very first time, first of all, thank you very much. But this is what we do every single day because we resolve on this show a handful of things, right? And it's getting a little bigger. It's getting a little bigger, but because we had to lay the foundation, and the foundation is, of course, Jesus Christ, for whom we take a knee every single day. We take a knee every day to Christ the King. That's number one. That's the foundation. That's everything, right? Everything else flows from that. You take a knee for Jesus Christ. You never give up, okay? No matter how hard it gets, no matter how difficult it gets, no matter how worn out you are, don't give up. Cry out to God if you need to. Cry out to your friends. You should cry out to God all the time. You should reach out to your friends. Allow them to support you and help you and strengthen you. But never give up. Keep on smiling, especially because we're living in super perilous, tumultuous times. Keep on smiling. Be that influence. Be that sunbeam in someone else's life. Because you know what? If it's hard for you, imagine how hard it is for other people who may not have the faith that you do. Imagine how difficult it is for people who are literally consumed right now with fear and hopelessness, in fact. Hopelessness, the hopelessness that comes from a relativity that says that what really means anything at all is whatever they say. that reality is little more than a movie that plays in your brain. And that when you die, that's just it. You didn't ask to open your eyes. And yeah, it's been a good time. Don't know why I'm here. We ain't going anywhere. There's really no meaning, no inherent value, not only to the person, but even to the cosmos. There's no direction for any of that. And then in the end, you croak and you go in the ground and the world will forget about you. But you know what? You had a good time here. And then COVID, right? You had a good time here. So you need to be the sunbeam to those people. You need to be the strength to those people. You need to be that grace in their life. And you do that not always by just preaching at them, right? You don't want to be the guy. There's a song, what is it, Pedro the Lion, I think, back in the day. Got him in trouble because he dropped the F-bomb, and I won't do that here. But it's basically, you got a guy, I think at a school, and he's always just bashing people with the Bible. He's the thumper, and he's going around just judging left and right, and acting as if God is his authority on everything all the time. That's just, I've got the authority. I'm the guy doing it. And the lyric was that, you're speaking in God's name, but you're speaking so much and so loud that you can't hear that the Holy Ghost is literally begging you to shut the F up. Okay? So sometimes we actually get in the way of things that God can do because sometimes we like to control that. And so just allow God. Look, he gave you gifts and talents. He gave people in your life, your family and your friends, your coworkers and your classmates. He placed you in a land with a people. He placed you in a time with a reference to the world around you and the way that things have developed throughout history. He placed you in that context for a reason. So look around you and find your reasons there. You don't need to make something up. It's all at your disposal. He's placed you there for a reason. It's a powerful moment. What is it? A Kairos moment? Is that what you would call it? It's a Kairos moment. Every moment, in fact, for you. Because each encounter that you have, each conversation that you have, each experience that you have, if you use those things and translate those things in a spiritual way that says, God, to you be the glory, Gloria in excelsis Deo, we're going to give it all back to you, Lord. If you do that, God is going to use those things, not only to benefit you, but to benefit those you love, and maybe even those who hate you. Those who wish for your demise, those who mock you. And in fact, sometimes he will use that the most for them. And so make sure, grab that glass and raise it high to the sky because we are going to howl at the sun, guys. So here we go. You got to make sure you got it all ready. Let's get all pumped up here. Here we go. Oh, I got to take this camera off. Oh, look at me. I'm over here. I feel like I'm in a dark room now. By myself. I know you're with me, guys. Here we go. It's my favorite group. I gotta put the other pictures in. I'm sorry. I got a bunch more. You've sent them. I have heard you howl. I have seen the hats. Let's howl, guys. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, God. Yeah. Look at that guy dance. Dance around. Do not be afraid. Do not be ashamed. Christ is King. He's King forever. You are a child of the King. No fear. Never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. Little Louie. Oh, I love this guy. I love that dude. Totally true, 100%, no doubt about it. He's a hero, man. And you know what? He's one of those sunbeams in my life. Okay? He's one of those sunbeams in my life. So here we go. Back to the comment section real quick before we move on. Before we move on here, let's see here. Oh, a happy Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, January. Did I forget to say the description? Did I do that? Did I forget that? Of the day, like giving the date and the day of the week and the date. I normally don't. I should be better about that. I did say it was the 12th day of Christmas. I did say that. Let's see here. Tyrell Lyle says, isn't that in Guam? Or is it in Quorn? Is that in the Quorn? What is that? What is the Quorn? Is it quarantine? Is that what you're saying? Maybe, it could be. Jim says, if you're sitting by yourself in the stall, who will know if you're being more inclusive? Oh, dude, that's a good point, talking about the idea of like sitting down to go number one, and that we're doing that. People are doing that to be more inclusive of, trans men, meaning, i.e. women who are playing the video game of the brain and believe that they really are a guy. And it really is offensive that they don't have the equipment. They're like, look, I just wish I did. And I'm like, I wish I had $1 million. Wouldn't that be great? But the thing is, yeah, how would you know? And it's because they want to make sure that they can see what you're doing. They probably want to get rid of any kind of secrecy. Get rid of any kind of secrecy, man. That's what they're going to do. They're going to take those doors off the stalls, dude. They're going to take the doors off the stalls. They'll end up giving the cats more privacy than adults. Believe me. I mean, that's one of the ways, man, that they're going to know for the, social credit system. Okay. That's what's going to end up happening. Your social credit score. So they're going to be like, well, is he going to the potty sitting down? Do other people see him? Can we shame them? And you're talking about, maybe Terrell's talking about the toilets, the double toilets, man. I don't know about that. Don't know about that. Latin Patriot says, mad squirrels chase city folks in San Francisco, California. Are you in San Francisco, bro? Are you in San Francisco? If so, I'm sorry a little bit that I was dogging San Francisco as the city of turds on the ground. But it's a little true, right? And is that isolated, man? Because, I mean, I remember reading stories about just gobs and gobs of bags of that. Needles all over the place. It's looking real hit. Wasn't that the city, man, where the mayor walks around and was surprised by all the crap all over the place? Wasn't that it? Let's see. Imagine these nuts. Oh, I don't know what that's about. Are you talking about the squirrel? You're talking about the squirrel, probably. The violent squirrel. Phil says, hello from Denver, praying for our republic this week, hoping our country survives the most divisive week in our history. It's totally true, man. It's getting pretty wild. We're going to talk about that, actually. We're going to talk about that. Latin says, that gives me hope to know we only need an equal amount to the other side of the coin. I don't know. I should look at that in real time because I'm like, what is he talking about? What is Latin talking about, man? Oh, but the cheers, dude, raising that up, dude. Look. Good. Good. We only need an equal amount to the other side of the coin. Break that down because it sounds like it would be a good conversation. Probably was, and I just missed it. And now I missed the context, man. I missed the context of it. Shirley said, absolutely very well said. Yes, thank you. EVG. Oh my gosh, EVG. It is a pleasure to see you. It is a pleasure to see you here. And yes, hallelujah. Big time hallelujah. Let's see, Shirley, scream and yell if you have to cry, if you have to, but never give up. People come in your life for a reason, some for just a season. Man, you're a poet. That's a good one. And yeah, Latin, of course, raising that glass high. Cheersing from afar, man. Cheersing from afar. Bethany says, ow! And of course, right there, greater is he that lives in us than he that lives in the world. And you know what? You guys are awesome, by the way. Dang. You guys are really great. You guys are really, really great. Okay, so, hold on. Okay, this is where it's a little bit different, okay? In order to save space, and I'm hoping it hasn't been glitching. Let me know if it has been. Okay, on my screen, it seems as if it's doing quite well, but it's going to require some differences in the way the show works. Hold on. Before we... What? Before we do that, where... Oh, is it? Did I not... Oh, it's right here. Okay, I got it. Boom. Yeah. So, okay, you got to go check out. There's links way up high. So no matter what comment section you're in, okay, it doesn't matter. Facebook, YouTube does not matter. Periscope, Twitch, DLive, whatever comment section you're in, okay, no matter which one, make sure that you go scroll up and you'll see 2 links that I shared. These are the first cups that we are releasing. Okay, I guess they're 20-ounce cups, so they're big. Okay, they don't look very big, but apparently they're pretty big. They're supposed to be 20-ounce cups, straight to the dome. Okay, that's one side. On the other side, as you can see, it's got the original Paleocrat Diaries logo. My wife is making the new one where I'm kind of to the side screaming, and it's got the blue behind me and stuff, and I'm like growling into the mic and everything. It's totally dope. That's going to be on there. So you'll be able to get the original logo or the more updated logo, but either way, paleocratdiaries.com on one side. And then, of course, we have a very, very, very special edition, Paleocrat Diaries Wolfpack Cup, the mug there. And that drawing, I believe, was done by my son, Ambrose. Okay, my son Ambrose, he's in 6th grade. He's a great artist, really creative guy, loves drawing, loves flip books, right? That's what he got for his birthday and stuff. He absolutely loves doing them. He's very talented at doing them. And he drew and he colored this. It's got the Team Tiny Dancer crew, our family. And it's also got Paleocrat. It's all colored in. And at the bottom is Wolfpack. And of course, as I said, each cup, so both of these cups has the logo on the other side. And so you've got the artwork, and there's going to be more added to this, and this will eventually be on the .com. Ailey was working behind the scenes yesterday to make sure that she could get this today up and out there, because so many of you have been asking. You guys have been asking about it, and so we told you we would, and we did the same thing with social media. Yesterday, I shared a picture. I'll share it again here. Let me see if we can. I may have to go into the main. Oh, there we go. It's okay. I'm going to do this. Hold on a second. What am I doing? Okay, yeah. So here we go. Oh, no. So why is it doing that? Why is it doing that? Hold on a second. We need to get this thing out of there. So I don't know exactly why it's covering it up like that. I don't know why it's covering it up like that. It should not. Okay, it should not. Oh, because I know why. Here we go. So okay, so I was saying that yesterday. I'll go ahead and transform this real quickly because I'm going to encourage everybody to follow me on Facebook. Okay, so follow me on Facebook. Let's scroll this thing over here. Burp. Oh no. So follow me on Facebook at jeremiah.bannister. I guess I'll just leave that there. Oh no, I don't. Okay. There we go. So that's a picture that I posted yesterday of my family. Went ahead and did that. Shared it along with just a merry 11th day of Christmas. Today, of course, I shared a different picture. And so, and by the way, I should say this. Whenever you support the show and you buy a cup or you do anything, you do a membership over at the website, paleocratdiaries.com. No matter what you're doing, all of that money is going toward my kids' education at Sacred Heart Academy in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And the thing about that is that, as you can see, we have a 4th, 6th, and 8th grade student right now. And we've got little Louie. He's the one in the plaid down at the bottom. And we got little Wolfgang Phoenix. We got him up there. I'm holding him. And so we're going to have kids for quite a while going through here. Okay. And at one point we may have 4 kids in school at the exact same time. And so it's a sacrifice we made, but it's also the reason why I decided to do the show, in order to make up that deficit by putting my hand to the plow, right? Working the best I can, giving the best I've got for a couple hours a day. And that's what I've been doing. And so really excited about that. You can learn more about that, paleocratdiaries.com. Subscribe, that's free. Membership is $5 a month. And we're going to have stuff for members who've been around for a while. Maybe even if somebody's been a member from the beginning, they may end up just getting a mug, depending on the cost of it and stuff like that. But no matter what, we're going to figure out things that are specifically just for members. And I even told a buddy of mine, in fact, the powers that be, the manager of the channel that I'm on here, the network I'm with. And I told him, I said, it's one of those things where, I really want more views, obviously. Any show wants to have more views. I said, but really, if you ask me, what is the thing I want the most? And the thing I want the most is to connect with members, to connect with people who are committed to the long term with this show. They're in for the long haul. And so if you're one of those people and you want to see this thing keep going, not just to say, well, I'm donating and Jeremiah is continuing to make videos every day, but that we can connect, okay? And you can become a more integral part of what we do behind the scenes, and even special live videos, things like that. When the books come out, PDF versions for free, maybe even paperback, depending on the price. So there's going to be a whole bunch of things that are going to be really great. And if you're part of that, make sure paleocratdiaries.com. Of course, we have a PayPal, paypal.me/Paleocrat if you'd like to donate bigger. But that's my family at church on Christmas Eve. So I shared that yesterday. And then I shared, man, I did that again. And then I shared this one today. This one here is a close-up of the nativity at our church. And so it's right over by the baptismal font, and they put this together every year. It's absolutely beautiful. I took the picture with my camera. That's how stunning the colors are. I mean, it's just so vivid. A perfect place for it. I wrote an article for meaningofcatholic.com. And I've only written 2 of them. It's tragic, in fact. But I've had to do more with my own stuff, to be honest. But I wrote one over there, and it's called, The Blinding Light of Darkness. And it's about a Rorate Mass. And it was before Christmas. It was very cold. And I talk about the lead up to Christmas and what that means. And I talk about this nativity scene and how the Savior had not been placed yet. And it's a very powerful, very poetic piece. And so I encourage you to go check that out. You can do that at meaningofcatholic.com. And just look up Jeremiah Bannister, Meaning of Catholic, and you can find all of my stuff over there. So, all right. But I wanted to show you that. So before we move on, I'm going to go ahead and show, let me see if I can get my camera out of there. Okay. Why is that doing that? All right. I'm going to put this on the big screen. I don't know why that's not showing. We're going to change this up real quick. Okay, so transform. Let's go ahead and fit the screen. And let's see if it'll work. No, so we got to drop it down. Here we go. Why is it doing that? Okay, we're pulling away up here. There we go. Okay, I got it. I apologize for that. I'm still learning this whole thing. So again, thank you for joining us. We're going to be right back in just a moment, right after this quick break. And we're going to be right back with more of the show. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. And we'll get back to the comment section. It's going to be an awesome time. And I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. I'm grateful that you tune in. And we're going to get into some of the more hardcore political topics. And don't go anywhere. You're listening to and watching Paleocrat Diaries. Love this video? What a coincidence. I do too. Now head on over to paleocratdiaries.com for more videos, blogs, book and movie reviews, even Team Tiny Dancer stuff. And don't forget to check out our new members and services pages. It's how I pay for my kids to attend Catholic school. Until next time, Memento Mori. All right, so here we go. On to the news. We got to deal with this stuff. And, well, I wanted to say this. I've been saying that I've been doing the jihad on fat, and it's totally true. I've been doing the jihad on fat now for a while. My wife, into the crusade. I'm so sorry. I had to change it up, man. I had to change it up. I miss this saber. I might even just keep it just for fun. We're savoring doing that thing for the fat. But I wanted to give a shout out to Blackballed. Another show, New Year's weight loss update, January 4th. I started my diet January 1st and am just under 10 pounds lost. That is mostly all water weight, which is good. Yeah, I agree. I'm same way. My rings now, because I'm doing keto, my rings are in fact getting bigger and stuff like that. I did, however, weigh more than I thought I would. Again, I'm with you. Going into this fat loss, and we'll talk about that on, I guess, last night's show. If you're wanting to tag along, here's my plan. And my plan is, in fact, quite similar. It's one of the reasons why I want to do this, more than just congratulating him and encouraging him to keep going, but intermittent fasting, okay, with under 30 grams of net carbs. In other words, if you eat something that's got carbs in it, if it's got fiber, you just simply subtract the fiber, and whatever the resulting number is would be your net carbs. Intermittent fasting would be to Eat or drink nothing that is going to spike your insulin. So for, let's say, anywhere from 16, I think it's like 16.8 and 18.6 and 24. So like you can do any of those. So not eating for 16 hours. Your stomach's going to start to get like, you're going to get hungry. And then you're going to eat. But everything you eat is going to be within the window of those 8 hours. So if you're 16 hours no food, you're going to be 8 hours of food. If you're going to be 18 hours of food or no food, then you're going to be 6 hours of food. Same thing with 20 and 4. So that's what intermittent fasting is, and staying under the 30 grams of net carbs. Very wise decision. He's doing a severe caloric deficit. I'm not. Okay, I am not doing that. To me, that is burning out, man. And look, if he has the discipline for that, that's one thing. But a lot of people, they'll do a severe caloric deficit. So let's say they do, 800 to 1,200 calories in a day, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to be super, super hungry. And in many cases, you're going to lose a lot of energy in those cases too. He says no weightlifting until under 200 pounds. I would actually disagree with that. As a man especially. Now, it doesn't matter what age you are. Okay, and so he should be lifting weights, if for no other reason than your muscle is going to just eat that fat. I mean, and you need to do that. And in fact, you should. He says only light cardio and light body weight. Okay, so I understand what he's saying about that. But the idea of weightlifting for a man, depending on how you do it, if you do supersets and stuff like that, pyramids and everything, if you do those, you're going to get that heart just pumping, man. I mean, you're going to get it really, really cranking up there, and you're going to be building muscle. And so that muscle for a man is extremely important in trying to burn that fat. And not just to burn the fat, but to have stuff underneath it so that, when your skin is all stretchy and stuff. So I would disagree with him a little bit, but I agree on the light cardio thing, man. I agree with that. And if you're going to do cardio, if you're even going to do cardio for this sort of thing, I'll disagree with him on it. It shouldn't even be light. It should be light in the sense that it's short. Okay, do a 15-minute, three times a week, 15-minute a day HIIT program, high intensity interval training. Just do that. Okay, that's going to get you. And what I mean by that is, let's say, I like a guy, Body Coach TV, 40 seconds of, let's say push-ups, for example. 40 seconds of push-ups, 20-second break. 40 seconds jumping jacks, 20-second break. 40 seconds of burpees, 20-second break. 40-second mountain climbers, 20-second break. And you do that, let's say you have 4 or 5 exercises, and then you wait, that next one you wait, you can either keep going at the same pace, you can pause it. I mean, nobody's winning a medal for that. At least not if they're trying to lose weight like this. They're probably not, medals. So take your time but you want to keep that heart rate up, and you don't want to keep it up too high for too long. So do, 15 minutes. That's all you got to do. And if you do that 3 days a week, you're going to see results in that. And it's also going to help you with your metabolism all throughout your day. And so if you do it early, it's going to help your metabolism throughout the whole day, even if you're sitting down. And so it's one of those things you should do. Only beverages allowed are water, sparkling water, and black coffee with heavy cream sometimes for good fats. I agree with all of that. Heavy cream, I'd add to that butter or even various oils and stuff like that. Even, HCT oil? I would include that. Although, people got to be careful because that's a calorie, and you will have inevitably you're going to have an insulin spike. And so it's kind of, there's a debate on whether or not you're technically fasting if you do that. Okay, but it might help people. You're still sacrificing food for a long period of time, but it's not the exact same. And his target weight is 185 before any powerlifting. He should be doing that with fat on his body. I mean, especially powerlifting, man. He should be doing it. What are you thinking, man? What are you thinking, Pierce? He wants to make his jaw visible again. I'm with you 100%. I hate the gobbler. It's one of the reasons I don't shave my face, man. I'm totally with you. And so, we may be doing it differently, but I just wanted to say that as an encouragement, but also to let people know a little bit as to what I'm doing. And that way, if they would like to participate in that, and they would like to join me in the crusade against being a fat slob and a lazy piece of crap, if they would like that, and to really honor the temple that God gave us and to make the best of it, that we can, in our lifetime, that we can look at ourselves in the mirror and not be, ashamed of the ridiculous amount of cottage cheese bumps in our skin and the stretch marks and stuff. And that we're trying very hard to honor God, not only with our mind and with our words and with our asceticism, but also with our bodies. And because we don't reject reality, and that's part of that. We are souls within flesh, man. So, all right. So I wanted to share that. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and delete that one. And then the next one. All right. So on to the real stuff. I was going through all these stories on Telegram, which is really what I do. Okay. So I go through all the stories on Telegram, and that's where I dump stories that I want to talk about. I put it in there, and then the next day I scroll through and I decide which ones out of all those that I wanted to do. And a lot of times it's kind of choreographed. It's got a theme. Okay. And this is one of those things that is thematic. Right here, Patrick Casey said, we're up against globalism, not communism. This isn't the Cold War, and our overlords, billionaires, politicians, bankers, etc., are decidedly not conspiring to create a dictatorship of the proletariat. Okay, so they're not, the global reset is not this idea of having Agenda 2030. All this stuff, these people are not conspiring together to create a world where the proletariat, where the working person is the dictator of everything else. That's just not true. And so these people, they love power. They love money. They'll talk about a moneyless world. They may be cashless, but not without even the idea of a social credit score. That whole idea is currency. That whole idea is another way of trading, another way of building up your credit, another way of building up your value, or showing that you are not reliable enough or valuable enough in order to engage with society at large, or get loans, or even do dating stuff that they've got over in China. There's a lot of problems with that. But that's another form of currency. So they're not wanting to get rid of the idea of value. They're not wanting to get rid of the idea of being rich, especially not for themselves. They're not going to give up their mansions. I mean, imagine that for a second. Imagine that they're like, oh no, we're going to go ahead. We're going to get rid of all the money. We're going to get rid of everything like that. Dude, this is just phony baloney sauce. You got to know your enemy. You have to know who's coming after you. And in this case right here, this is what we're dealing with. It's what we're dealing with. Now, people can say, well, you can have a globalist communist rule, and that would be true, but I don't think that it's a resurrection of the Cold War. I think that there's various shades that Marxism has fleshed itself out. But even then, we can see that the left, and that the globalist left, is beholden in some ways, that they use it as these people as useful idiots. We see it all the time with their virtue signaling left and right, and then they're the same people who are like defending very inhumane conditions for people who work for them. Same exact people. And so you got to know who you're dealing with here. Globalism is increasingly totalitarian, sure, but that doesn't make it communism. In fact, globalism, the push to consolidate the world into a single economic zone, is ultimately capitalistic in nature. That's debatable. That's debatable. Oh, however, there's I'm reading a book right now, Imperium, that breaks it down and says why you can have capitalistic ideas, and it's really a worldview from a certain time in history. I mean, that's really what they're talking about, and saying it's not necessarily just simply having to do with an economic system. It's much more than that. And he makes the case. I won't do that here, and I'm sure that there are people who will not like what was said, and take it up with Patrick Casey, by the way. The idea, though, being that we need to better understand our enemy and not put our enemy into a scarecrow. Okay, we don't want to just throw it into a straw man here and say, well, I remember the days back in the days when it was the commies and stuff, and we just think that that's just the way that is. That's not even the spirit of the age, the political spirit of the age. Simply not the way it works. And maybe it never was in some ways, having to do with the Anglo elites, right? Having to do with them and saying, what was it really? Who really was in control, and what really was the aim? Questions worth talking about. Questions worth considering. Let's see here. And in this world where the globalist regime. And for all intents and purposes, the globalist regime is the Tower of Babel regime. It's not new. And that's one of the things that actually drives me nuts, right? Is that there's a lot of people who treat it like, well, this is a new thing. And you go, no, this is actually an ancient impulse. It's an ancient kind of witchcraft, man. It's wicked bad, but it's not new. And we can see it, that ambition, that drive. And it's inevitable in a way. It's inevitable in a way because every worldview is, to one extent or another, imperial. It believes it's true, and not just true for itself, but true for others. And even the worldview that says that what's true for me is true for me, and wrong for me, or wrong for me is wrong for me, and you can't tell me otherwise, even that has that ambition of imperialism, because the end portion that says what's true for me is true for me, what's wrong for me is wrong for me. Okay? You can't tell me otherwise. And if you say, well, I don't agree with that, my belief system says I can force that on you, they're going to insist that that's not right. And not just right, not for you, but not right for anybody else. All the while, the very view that they embrace that you do not embrace is what they are forcing on you. And that's what's happening here. So you can go back and you can look and you can see the imperial drive for the kingdom of man and the imperial drive for the kingdom of God. Christ the King has imperial dynamics. Every single enemy shall be subjected unto this. All power and authority. Not a little bit here, not a little bit there. There's not like these different magisteria all over the place. It is under the authority and rule of Christ the King. End of story. That is the social right of his kingship, by the way. It's not like he's asking. It's actually the social right of his kingship. It's universal in its scope. And it's why we subject all things, not this and that, but all things. It's why. But in saying all of this, though, we are increasingly going to find ourselves at a divide. So you're going to have people in the globalist New World Order idea, and these people are going to increasingly get more satanic. They're going to actualize the assumptions. And sometimes it takes time. Okay, sometimes it takes time to flesh itself out. We can see that in the debates over increasing tolerance of gay marriage, for example, and the effect that that had, or the increasing tolerance in the development of gender theory, stuff like that, or the development of ideas regarding egalitarianism and the impact that that has on society. The idea, you name it, scientism. To say this idea, this rationalistic idea of scientism and the way that affects people over time, eventually, unless it's stopped dead in its tracks, it is going to develop a natural life cycle that says, it starts with an assumption here, and people begin over time accepting that some of the things that they originally denied were going to result from this belief, or this frame that they have in their head about what they think the world is and stuff. They go, well, it's never going to turn into that. It's never going to be this. It's never going to be that. And they'll say that, but over time, and we can see this, I list a whole bunch of examples of this in my podcast that I did called Scorched Earth. I think it's when tolerance goes too far, or when empathy goes too far. And I go through instance after instant after instant after instant of this. In each and every one, how a debate started, where the divide began, and what the left said would never happen. Quoting them, saying, look, this is what they said. And then you can see the development of it, and it reaches a certain point where they just simply cave in and say, well, yes, of course. And they try to play the game that they never changed their mind. But the truth is they did. And the right was right all along. But they're going to, as it develops, they're going to split further and further away from God. They're going to split further and further from the Christian worldview. Fewer and fewer things are going to overlap. We're there right now. We're there right now. We're at a place now where ideas of origin, ideas of authority, moral foundations, ideas regarding disgust, ideas regarding shame, ideas regarding law and order, hierarchy and home. It doesn't matter. you can look one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another, that these things have changed and changed so fundamentally that there's no longer even that middle space where they share certain values and can coexist. The whole idea of coexist, in fact, only makes sense under certain conditions. It's impossible. It's impossible under others. And so you're going to be labeled radical right. In fact, I embrace this. I wear it on my sleeve. Washington Post, Perspective, we must stop calling Trump's enablers conservative. They are radical right. That's actually true. I'll accept it. In reference to, you know, a diabolical worldview, yeah, man, dude, label me that all day long. Label me that all day long. In contrast to, you know, a demon-infested satanic idea of the world and men and women and everything else in between, how we ought to live, what we must do. You know, you're going the way of the wicked one. You're going the way of hell. Okay. If you want to call me radical right, I got you. I hear you. I hear you. And I accept it. I accept it. And people should not worry about it. In fact, you don't have to be conservative. I don't even use that phrase anymore. People say, well, are you conservative? No. No. I'm not a conservative. I mean, okay, within the broadest sense of the term, you know, or maybe originalist terms and things like that, you know, there are certain things that I would agree, you know, Edmund Burke, that kind of thing, Russell Kirk, that kind of thing, Paul Gottfried and company, Pat Buchanan. It's a brand of conservatism, but I think in a way you got to have a better name. It's one of the reasons why I created the moniker Paleocrat. I made that word. I'm the first person to use that word, at least online. No, I don't know any books. And if I'm wrong, let me know if you found an earlier reference. But as far as I'm concerned, and far as I know, I'm the one who created and did the wordsmithing. I did the wordsmithing to put that together. And the whole idea is that I looked at it and I said, I think certain brands are just gone. I think that they're living on fumes if they're even living at all. It's like trotting out dead horses and thinking that, you know, it's the same thing. And you're like, it's not a pony. It is a pony. It was a pony. But it's kind of lacking the luster. It's dead. I think conservatism is that. I think that in this cycle of culture and civilization, I think that that's true of libertarianism. And whether or not that could even get up off the ground as a brand, you know, as an idea, a political idea. But we got to be okay with that. We got to be okay. But you're going to be called, and in fact, people watching this right now, they're probably like, oh, this guy's a conspiracy theorist. He's a conspiracy theorist. He's talking about New World Order. He's talking about Tower of Babel. He's talking about Great Reset. He's talking about COVID. He's talking about all these things. He's a conspiracy theorist. I think Milo was right about this. Milo said conspiracy theorist is how intellectually mediocre, non-playable characters whose daily routine and belief systems are handed down to them from above refer to those of us willing to think the unthinkable. It's true. Or just simply to think that it's to believe that it's thinkable and realistic for things to be happening that have, I don't know, in fact happened. People are like, that's impossible. And you're like, but it happened already. I mean, you're like, over here, look, you know, it's not the first time. These people, because they don't like history, they loathe it, which is why they want to reimagine it all the time. And they're just constantly blaring imagine into their ears. Gotta keep doing it. Gotta convince myself. It's why, because they loathe history. It tells a story. And they hate that story. But they don't, and what makes it absurd, what makes it absurd, not just that history would be meaningless, but that what they're doing in the present would be meaningless, because what they do in the present, within a matter of the snap of a finger, the blink of an eye, is categorically history. The future that they want is going to be history the moment they get it. And you look and you say, well, it's meaningless. Oh, that's convenient if they say, well, no, not what we're doing. What we're doing has meaning. It's finally reached the place. It's finally reached the place, the pinnacle. It's all been leading to us. It's one of the problems, in fact, with the evolutionary idea with society. And I think I think that it's a predictive model in many ways, especially with group dynamics. And if people don't believe that, they should familiarize themselves with folks like David Sloan Wilson, for example, or Jonathan Haidt, or E.O. Wilson, to see how that works out and say, look, you can see this. Even EvoPsych isn't completely off its rocker. But there's a problem that it's gotten into the mind of the masses, and especially, in the West, where it's like, well, we began very low on the totem pole and made our way up and made our way through, antiquity, and then made our way up through medieval times, the Middle Ages, and now we've reached modernity. And at modernity, it's all been reaching to me, to you. We are the completion of this. That's its own kind of apocalyptic end times worldview, by the way. All the while thinking, there's actually a lot of people who may have thought that exact same thing in the past. History's here for us. History's coming, man. History was leading up to me eating my Big Mac, watching my Sesame Street, doing my TikTok, dancing in the nurse ward. In the comments, conspiracy is equivalent to seeing red flags in an abusive relationship. We can make an educated guess that things are not going to end well. Dude, brilliant, by the way. Brilliant, by the way. It's totally true. John Moseman. Dude, bro. Let's see. Yeah, okay. People criticizing me in the comments, by the way, about my jihad on fat. Yeah, we are not Mohammedans, dude. I agree, man. And have I tried Exodus 90? Yes, I did. I was loving it. And then quarantine happened. We weren't able to do our group meetings the same way. The whole thing, it was like deflating a balloon. And it did that for pretty much all of us who were involved. I have the book, about the book. Justin says, wash hands. Wash hands of the show, man. Are you washing hands of the show? What's going on, man? You're my capitalist buddy. Let's see, John Moseman, exactly. It's globalist elitism. These technocratic eugenicists are wanting corporatism more than socialism. Totally true. He says Chinese are morphing communism into global corporatism. They've been doing that too for a while, haven't they? Haven't they? People called it state capitalism. That's what they called it. And you agree, yeah, scientism's evil. Soul War says they did it to fool you and set you up. Talking about the way that the interaction between various groups that are opposing each other and labeling each other to label each other with terms, polemically, that's going to diminish your power and grant power to them. I'm assuming that's what it was about. And asking, it worked too, did it not? John says paleoconservative is, i.e. paleocrat. You know what? That's true, but I think I like the term paleocrat. I think it's better. It's easier to say, and it doesn't have some of the baggage, man. In the comments, James, having a family within wedlock and practicing Christianity is considered radical and far right, without a doubt. In fact, there are some people who consider it terrorism. Believing and pursuing extraordinary, challenging ideas with profound and sometimes unsettling consequences, is sort of the definition of a noteworthy, interesting, brilliant person. This is why the insult fails. Talking about insulting people, calling them a conspiracy theorist. And you can see, here's a way you can look at it. How can you tell the truth is being told? Now, this isn't necessarily true, but it's proverbially true. It's like one of those things where you can say, oh, I know a lot of instances like this. How can you tell that the truth is being told, or that it's quite possibly being told? Facebook blocks it, Twitter bans it, Google hides it, YouTube deletes it, the government censors it, and the media never mentions it. Think about that. And they don't see how this fuels it? Or do you think they do? Do you think they're okay? I mean, like, what is it? Social Dilemma, the movie? Social Dilemma, the movie. I had a friend who was talking about how one of the criticisms she had of it was it made it sound like big tech is actually fueling conspiracy theories. I think there's actually some truth to that. Not by boosting Q. Not by boosting, people talking about Freemasons or New World Order or Illuminati or Council on Foreign Relations or Bilderberg or any of those things. I mean, they're all there. It's all there. They're not boosting that. Or, the idea of NASA hoax and all that stuff. I don't think that that's what they mean by that. But I think that it is and I got to be strict about this. I do think it is that Illuminati tactic of divide and conquer, of fueling both sides. And they know the consequence of this. They know that even from the data, they know that when you end up getting rid of certain ideas off of a platform, it's going to bring a lot of recognition to those ideas, and more people are going to check those ideas out. And they also know that it's going to end up forcing people into certain spheres, these bubbles, right? These bubbles, these silos, where now, before they were with everybody else, and now they're all bundled up in a group and fueling each other like crazy, empathizing left and right because they understand. And people forget this too. Conspiracy theorist, someone who questions the statements of known liars. The term conspiracy theorist was a term made popular by the CIA to stop critical thinkers from asking questions about JFK's assassination. Is that a question? In a memo called Countering Criticisms of the Warren Report, the CIA sets out to make the term conspiracy theorist a weapon to be used against anyone who questioned the government's secret activities and programs. The inevitability, by the way, of state secrets, the inevitability of even papal secrets, the inevitability of these things, right? Which is going to happen anytime you've got a state or anytime you have an organized religion that's hierarchical. And in some cases, maybe even for the good of the people, for the good of the benefit of the whole, that something remains a secret doesn't mean it's a lie. Some things are between you and God. Some things are between you and others that actually it's relevant to you and does not need to concern other people. It's an altogether different thing to say because of this secrecy, which may be in fact inevitable, because of that secrecy, it's going to fuel something. And these people may not just fuel suspicion, but fuel the idea that those who have a monopoly on power are going to use that power in nefarious ways. It's like the ring. What's the ring, man? You put that bugger on, nobody can see you. How many tests are done that show how that works when you can even hurt people? Hurt people maliciously. They'll never know it was you. Would you do it? Most people say, well, no way. That sounds crazy. Do you know how many people did? Humans are a dangerous animal. But we see it. It's hard when you talk about, well, liars and what are these people lying? And you say, well, who are you talking about lying? Here's an example. And you say, it's really difficult to not believe that there is nefarious, mischievous, secretive plotting going on with people in high positions of power like Kamala Harris as an example, or Biden as an example for reasons we'll hear soon. But when they do stuff like this, turns out Kamala Harris lifted her freedom story. And if you don't know what that is, she was speaking to Elle magazine. And she's talking about how when she was a kid, a little kid, her parents had her in a stroller. And they're at this big march, big civil rights march. And they're going around. And somehow she got out of the stroller. It's like a Jesus thing. It's like a Jesus thing, at the festival and at the feast. And everybody's walking around and they're realizing, oh, crap. Where's Jesus? We got to go find him. And it's like that, but, with Kamala Harris, because she thinks of herself this way. Oh, no. Where's the baby? It's like Home Alone. Oh, no. Where's the kid? Apparently pushing the stroller back then, which would have been, come on. Come on. You remember the strollers that were around when she was a kid? That'd be so easy to feel the difference between kid on a stroller and kid not on a stroller. And if it wasn't, then you are either extraordinarily malnourished, you're like a malnourished midget, you're a malnourished dwarf, or you were so young and maybe malnourished that you wouldn't even be able to do what she claims happened, because what she said is her parents turned around. So get this, guys, get this. So her parents turn around and they're like looking for her, and they find her. And they said, "What do you want? What are you looking for?" And she looks up at them with those cute little eyes and goes, "Freedom." Literally, freedom with a W. Freedom. I want some freedom. And then you go, well, wait a second. That's kind of weird, because there's a 1965 Playboy interview with Martin Luther King by Alex Haley. And it says this, here's the quote. "I never will forget a moment in Birmingham when a white policeman accosted a little Negro girl 7 or 8 years ago who was walking in a demonstration with her mother. 'What do you want?' the policeman asked her gruffly. And the little girl looked him straight in the eye and answered, 'Freedom.' She couldn't even pronounce it, but she knew. It was beautiful. Many times when I've been in sorely trying situations, the memory of that little one has come into my mind and has buoyed me." That's probably one of those very fake stories that just get shared around. It probably never, ever happened. Never. Freedom! Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. She's 7 or 8. I can imagine that. I cannot, however, imagine the idea of, I was in a baby stroller. I could barely talk. Freedom! You watching too many cartoons, Kamala? You're watching too much Hollyweird crap. Weirdo. Liar. But if people lie like that over stuff like this, and look, how many lies? We showed a video a month ago. We showed a video of Joe Biden repeatedly lying over and over and over and over again. Just straight up plagiarizing people. Even in stories about his dad. Straight up. I mean, it showed the original video of the person making the claim and then him doing the exact same thing. He memorizes it. He's completely phony. Part of that, in fact, is the democratic element of our republic. It's a fraud. It's fake. The idea, not necessarily the democratic per se, the idea of going and voting, but the idea, number one, that actually amounts to anything remotely close, even when you win, of something that can rightfully be called representation. It breeds liars. It breeds power with money. It breeds that as king. It breeds the idea of the news having the power as a gatekeeper. That idea, as good as essential to our republic as it is, that idea, the idea that, well, no, I've got a representative. Not really. Number one, let's say you have 100,000 people that person's representing. You are statistically the power and everything with all of that and the role you play. You are essentially, 1 in 100,000. Whoop-de-doo. And imagine, even if it was a 50-50 split, even if it's 50-50 and the 50 over on this side agreed with every proposition the same, and on this side, every proposition the same. The thing is, you have one person that goes and is a representative. Well, guess what? He ain't representing you if he's somebody that the other side voted for. He's representing in a very loose manner. And so you're inevitably going to have this idea. It's like using the phrase, and I'm probably not going to make friends with this. But I'm gonna level with you straight up and say, when people go, for the people, by the people, and all that stuff, and they start talking that way, when they do that, right, quoting Abraham Lincoln and everything else, when they do that, I say, what do you mean by the people? And how is that different than Donald Trump said X or Y or Z and Twitter wasn't having it? It's fake. It's fake. And most people, most traditional leaning people wouldn't even, they'd be like, well, you know, I don't know if I really want every single person, one man, one vote. If it is one man, one vote, if that's just the way it is, you know, we're going to inevitably have limitations on that, right? I mean, it's going to happen. I'm glad they're there, or to the degree they are. We might want to get back to some more of those. But the thing is, it's going to breed liars. People who say that they're going to, I'm going to represent. I guess, you know. You don't really represent me, but you represent me. So you're using two different meanings of a word. And so when they're peddling themselves, and essentially they're hooking themselves, politics in that regard is prostitution. You're hooking yourself. I'm going to give you this goodie. How much does it cost? How much does it cost, baby? What do you do? What are you willing to sell your soul for? And so I'm not surprised, but when we live in that world, and those are the conditions, the political conditions and the political context wherein all of this stuff happens, it's not only unsurprising that there would be secrecy and lies, but unsurprising that the enemy would label and brand those who are suspicious to be a problem. Because in fact, we are a problem to them. Wear it on your sleeve. Here's another one. This is another one. People are like, there's no evidence of this. None at all. Exclusive. New York Post smoking gun, Hunter Biden email, 100% authentic forensic analysis concludes. Period. Period. There's no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence. You can't prove any evidence. It's like WikiLeaks, man. Remember that? Remember 2016? They're like, these are fake. They're not real. You can verify whether they are real or not. You would be able to. It was able to be done, and it was verified, tried, and true. And then what did it turn into? Just don't look at them, because then you're playing into Russia's game. All the while, we now know that Hillary and her staff was involved in the concoction of that entire scheme. We know it as a fact. It's not even, you can't even debate it anymore. That's why how often do you hear that, by the way? How often do people bring that back up, by the way? They're ashamed of it. It's time we rub it in their face and say, look, you said it was a conspiracy. In the end, and we said it was a conspiracy. You said we were conspiracy theorists because we were pointing out a conspiracy. And lo and behold, guess what? You guys were all conspiring. That's all on the table now. We know that. It is verified. It's not like some mystery, dude. It's not a mystery, man. Ain't a mystery with this. It's plain as day. But these scumbags, they're going to keep on saying that there's, well, it's looking pretty bad. Like, for example, Daily Mail. Exclusive national security nightmare of Hunter Biden's abandoned laptop containing phone numbers for the Clintons, Secret Service officers, and most of the Obama cabinet, plus his sex and drug addictions, all secured by the password dun 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 Hunter02. That's like, it's like the idea. That's why we can believe when we hear things that Podesta's password was 12345 or some crap. I don't even know if that's true. But the idea that it was an easy password. Look at this. Hunter02. Wow, dude. Wow. But we were told that it was fake. We were told not to believe it. We were told there was nothing there. And we were called conspiracy theorists. How about this one? The way that they label us as radical right. Those of us who are even willing to talk about the conspiracy of ignorance that is perpetrated against the American youth. A number of our staff members have made the decision. This is according to, what is it, Chicago Union? Is that what this is? A number of our staff members have made the decision to follow their union's advice and not attend school under its usual system of operation. We therefore need to return to a model in which we cater only for the most vulnerable and the children of critical workers on the school site. You will be contacted today with further information about how this affects you. Yeah, and you know what? Ain't that weird? Ain't that weird how the public school is now picking the babies? Ain't that weird, man? That's the whole idea that you have the defenders that are like, no, man, we need the public schools. In fact, we need to get rid of charter schools. We need to get rid of, any of the private school stuff. We can't allow for parents to have money to send their kids to where they want to send their kids. We need to keep that monopoly on that. We need to keep the gun with the taxation gun, the bayonet to the throat. Oh, give us the taxes. Why? Because we don't discriminate. We accept everybody and we treat everybody the same. There's the egalitarian lie. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I like what Milo said. Is there any reason for schools to continue receiving public money? They aren't providing a service, and their staff are totally replaceable with people who actually want to work and educate their children. Call their bluff. Shut them all down. Shut them down. It's the way to do it. It's the way to do it, isn't it? To say, look, you cannot keep getting paid and not work. You can't do this, especially if you are a essential worker, which is why what you've been assuring us over and over. Every single time you're constantly asking for more money, more money, more money, all the time. More power and power and power all the time. Call their bluff. Shut them down. And you know what? It would be way better anyway, to be really frank with you. So many of the people who go to school for education and actually go through, to try to get state certified and stuff, I don't mean to be rude, but they're kind of dumb as a box of rocks. That's why classical colleges won't accept it. They're like, oh no, you should study what you are good at. So if you want to, I went to school for journalism. It's why I stopped going to school to get my certification as a teacher. It's what I was doing my first semester at Olivet College was I was trying to be a teacher. I wanted to be state certified. I went and I spoke to some professors over at Hillsdale College, and the people over at Hillsdale College said, do not do that. Number one, you're going to be just brain cluttered with nonsense gobbledygook. It's better. We prefer. In fact, we only even really accept people who have done exceptionally well in their field and have dedicated an extraordinary amount of time to maybe one or more fields, and that's what they do, so that when they go in, they're teaching that. That's the opposite of this. It's like psychology 101 mixed with, daycare. Social engineering, crazy psyop crap, propaganda crap. And for what? And for this. Elementary, high school, college, job market. Look at the way it develops. But it doesn't just start there. It starts young. It starts young. Like I said, you want Sesame Street, you got it. You want Sesame Street, man, you got it. Sesame Street wants your kids, and they will get your kids as long as you keep turning it on. Because they need to start young. Look at the power, by the way, of what happens. A lot of times these people are the ones who say that indoctrination is bad, and they don't understand that the very nature of education is, to one degree or another, a method of indoctrination, even if it's just about the method itself. The values. The structure. Like what is the model you're using? Why is it beneficial? Why is it preferred? You're going to believe it's best. Otherwise, why the heck are you doing it? Even if it's just simply teaching kids to think for themselves. Teaching kids to be critical thinkers in this world, to have a well-examined life. You believe that's best, don't you? You know, it's kind of like saying, you know, there's never dominion versus no dominion. It's never authority versus no authority. It's always a question. You can do, you know, worldview, no worldview. You can do whatever you want with that and say it's never a matter of that. It's always a matter of which one. But it's not just schools either. We're seeing the lies and the way that we're being portrayed, even with stuff like this. Take Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. Breaking. Can confirm my team has been provided evidence of mail-in ballots with the votes already filled in by a machine. More than one instance of this has occurred, and it shows the voting machines can read and do accept machine filled in mechanical ballots more soon. And you want to know what's crazy about that? That team of people working on that have been shot at. Drive-bys through the window at their home into the daughter's room. A drive-by. Because it's all about power. Because it's all about power. And here's an expression. Here's where it gets in your face. Shooting. Kids. And here's this.
Fuck you! No, sir! Fuck you!
Il peut plus respirer, arrête! Arrête, il peut plus respirer!
So he's trying to keep him out of the house. They're telling people to get out because look, guys, it's coming. You think, and it's weird how so many conservative people believe that somehow the state can have a certain position that's New World Order, that's completely establishment, and yet somehow the enforcement branch of that A, they somehow magically disagree, and B, that they won't obey their orders. That's bizarre to me. It's bizarre to me. It's one of those things. Is, you know, in some ways maybe a necessary evil that we even have police. And yet at the same time, as a necessary evil, I can't be drinking the Kool-Aid on this and going, yeah, man, the blue is always awesome. Everything's great. No, it's not. No, it is not. And when did the radical right stop talking about a police state? When did, you know, and how does this not build into that? They are essentially going to be the tools that enforce the dominion of the establishment power. That is simply the way it works. There's not an instance, not one that's trended to the point of making it the norm, which, by the way, that'd be a messed up situation in some ways. It'd be a sign that something is broken, something is sick. If they didn't enforce the laws that they're given, even if the law is bad, it's what they do in the military too. Which is why it's doubly tragic when people who are obeying lawful orders will still get in trouble. And we're mocked even worse. They mock the religion. Religion just uses made-up things like Satan and hell to scare people. We had somebody like that earlier. We had somebody in the comment section saying stuff like that. I can't believe people fall for that. You know what's crazy? Yeah, the mask right there, right? Is the idea that they have this notion that they don't have a mythology themselves. That's fake. That they are without symbol. Fake. That they're completely materialistic. Fake. That they are entirely reasonable. Fake. That they don't, you base a lot of what they do on emotions. In fact, even before the use of the mind. Fake. It's their own brand of fideism. It just has a fancy name. And they swaddle it in technics. They swaddle it in technics. And it makes it easy for them to go, oh yeah, I'm making fun of the people that believe in the Eucharist because you know what? I got myself an iPad. You are missing an enormous amount of the picture. You are not even understanding basic metaphysics. You aren't understanding what this is. You aren't even understanding the necessary preconditions, the necessary ideas and assumptions and realities in this world that even allow for the scientific process and technological advancement to make any sense at all. In fact, if their worldview was true, it would make those things impossible because it's internally incoherent. It doesn't make any sense. It's contradictory, not paradoxical, straight up contradictory and flawed in the most fundamental ways on the most fundamental levels of foundation. But the enforcement's bad. Police arrested the Proud Boys leader for burning a BLM banner. This is by Vincent James from Red Elephant. Police arrested a couple for dumping paint on BLM mural. Police arrest you for not wearing a mask. Police arrest you for staying out past curfew. Police arrest you for defending yourself against Black Lives Matter. Police do nothing when Black Lives Matter tears down statues, riots, and loots. In fact, just like they did in Grand Rapids, they genuflect before the leaders and they wash the feet of BLM activists. They genuflect. And for what was it? For 8 or 9 minutes, the chief of police here in Grand Rapids. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Maybe it's, the repetitive mantra that you've got going on. Have you considered that? It's something that, Kundalini cults deal with. He's like, man, I was in a zone, man. I was tripping. I was tripping nuts. Doing that I can't breathe thing so long. And I don't mean to be rude about this, but this is another fact. Some of the dumbest people in college are not just the people going for their teaching degrees, sorry to tell you, statistically, but criminal justice. You go, okay, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Sitting up on Summit, and one marked state trooper vehicle, 2 black SUVs, there's 3 state trooper vehicles escorted, 4 Antifa shuttle buses right here front center.
So he's making the claim. I don't want to play that, man. I don't want to get in trouble for having him background music. Basically, what's happening here, keeping good on what we're talking about, he's showing that police had escorted a whole bunch of buses, and on those buses were a whole bunch of Antifa, Black Lives Matter protesters. They escorted them. They brought them there. Again, man, this is straight up Illuminati, by the way. This is straight up Illuminati. Illuminate confirmed. You got the leader of the Proud Boys. Matt Couch said, leader of the Proud Boys and my friend Enrique Tarrio. Yeah, by the way, proud of the boy. Proud of your boy, son. Is being arrested for a misdemeanor in Washington, D.C. as he just landed at the airport. Think of, and again, look at the bottom of it. I love this, man. Milo, by the way, yesterday, Milo was on the money. I like following him, by the way. He said, think of all the work, the people, the databases, the public money that went into this. Arresting Enrique off his flight. This is how your taxes are spent. And we've got people.
Sir,
We've got people
we're not
here.
going to let people hold our democracy.
Hold on, sorry about that.
We're not going to let them infringe on our rights. Every ballot has been counted. It is over. So when democracy is under attack, what do we do? When democracy
So here they are at Holly's house. And we have to know that this is coming, by the way. We have to see this is not like something that is going to come and just go. If it does, it comes in waves. It comes in waves, okay? So you've got where you have major revolutionary outbursts. And then maybe it quells for a little while. And then it comes back and then it quells for a little while. And you can see the way that this cycles its way through, that it gains in its intensity. And how it's always tethered and tied and roped down, connected to intimately with political parties. It's a tool of dominion. And that's one of the reasons why we need to get to the point where, and we should have thought about this sooner, people should have been doing it sooner. People should have been doing it sooner. Going and actually confronting people, even in their homes, and say, look, we are not going to make you comfortable. And I'm saying that. I know some people will say, Jeremiah, why are you saying that, man? Why do you think that we need to do that? And I'll tell you why. Because if we do not get to the point where we are actually defending the culture and the civilization that our founding fathers and our grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents produced for us, it was a result of their labor. If we don't fight for that, it is gone, and we will be to blame. The blood would be on our hands. We would go down like the founders went down as those who stood up and fought for those ideals, willing to sacrifice life and limb for the future, willing to do that for those freedoms. In the same way, if we don't fight back, that the opposition, we're not at a place where it's just a little bit of an idea that's different. No, we are at a place that is in a paradigm way. It's paradigmatic. It is the whole enchilada, baby. It's the whole enchilada. It is a rival system, a rival worldview, and at this point, it is a political unit. It has the ability to not only create that friend-enemy divide, but to wage war. It's not just a little fire here and a little fire there. The apparatus. Look at the apparatus. Look at the apparatus of all the major institutions. It's not about just making a better movie anymore. I believe in that. I think we need to make really great movies. We need to make really great movies that aren't satanic like Blue Beam over here. And I don't want to go into this one too much, but except to say, look at the symbolism. Look at the way this is. Look at the symbolism. Seattle's virtual New Year's at the Needle and the, what is that, unicursal hexagram? The symbol was devised by the Golden Dawn, this is conspiracy hole, and later adapted by Aleister Crowley as a device of personal significance. It's often worn by Thelemites as a sign of religious identification and recognition. The unicursal hexagram was created for the purpose of drawing the figure in one continuous movement, as the other magical polygons are created. The pentagram is one example. This is significant in ritual magic, when invoking and banishing hexagrams must be made. Crowley's adaptation of the unicursal hexagram placed a 5-petaled rose symbolizing a pentacle and the divine feminine in the center. The symbol as a whole making 11 5 petals of the rose plus 6 points of the hexagram, the divine, or the number of divine union. What you're seeing on the left, what you're seeing there is what was done in the sky with lasers. In fact, it was stunning to watch. I think it's going to be behind the alien invasions that we're going to see. I think it's going to be behind the kingdom of man's apparitions. And people across the globe are going to cower in fear. They're going to worship it. So we must know. And thankfully, we are not alone. Thankfully, we're not alone. And I'm going to end with this here. I've only got a couple more things here, and then we're closing out. Here's Trump here.
If the liberal Democrats take the Senate and the White House, and they're not taking this White House. We're going to fight like hell, I'll tell you right now. You know, I was telling Kelly before, you can lose, and that's acceptable. You lose, you go, and you go wherever you're going, and you go and say, maybe I'll do it again sometime, or maybe I won't, or I'll get back to life. But when you win in a landslide, and they steal it, and it's rigged, it's not acceptable.
And that's right. That should be a given, right? Shouldn't that be a given? But he's saying we're going to fight. Now, you don't know if he's going to win or not. I know people are like, I'm 100% sure. No, you're not. No, you're not. And stop putting all of your hope in chariots and horsemen. Stop doing that. But also, be encouraged and inspired that you aren't the only one, because we too are a political union. We are a political unit that is able, by its nature, to divide between friend and enemy and to wage war.
And I hope Mike Pence comes through for us, I have to tell you. I hope that our great vice president comes through for us. He's a great guy. Of course, if he doesn't come through, I won't like him quite as much. No, Mike is a great guy. He's a wonderful man and a smart man and a man that I like a lot. But he's going to have a lot to say about it. And you know one thing with him, you're going to get straight shots. He's going to call it straight.
True. And this is the last scene, and we're going to go to comments. I'm sorry I didn't engage in real time. I'm trying to get done quicker than normal. I don't want to go 3 hours, man. I'm trying to get it down. But right there. The 1776 flag flew over the White House just recently. I don't know if it was last night or the night before. Forwarded from the Oklahoma Proud Boys. It's symbolic. We are a people of symbol, by the way. No matter what we do, we're constantly wrapping everything we do up with symbolic meaning and significance. Because we know that a symbol is pointing to something beyond itself, something deeper within. We're not fighting alone, but the point is we've got to fight. We can't, you know, it's not the 80s anymore, guys. It's not the 90s anymore. It's not this world where it's like, well, all we got to do is just, debate each other. The whole idea of debate and dialogue is honestly toast. And in fact, it was bound to be, given the very nature of the ideas that are being debated and how those impact people with sinful nature rallying and fighting between the kingdom of man and the kingdom of God. Both of them with that imperialistic impulse, both of them believing in that global dominion of that idea, the triumph and victory of that idea. The idea that we would just keep it hedged in. It's one of the reasons why, I'm very nationalistic in many ways, but I also understand the global conquest of Christ Jesus. I say, look, it's a means to an end. It's a means to an end. And so I look at it and say, look, the idea that we can get into a room and we can debate these ideas eventually, and maybe you remember this. Maybe you remember when news organizations and Facebook and all the big tech, they would say stuff like, well, we've gotten to a point where this is just a fact, and if you deny it, take climate change, if you deny it, then you're not speaking fact, you're in magic land. They reach that point. In other words, they put their flag there. And all the while, so many on the right, were duped into the idea that it wasn't about placing a flag in anything, that it was simply the exercise. It was simply the medium, the venue for debate, that was the value. It is valuable, but it's not an end. And the point is, one group or another group is going to put their flag in that and continue marching forward. And then once it gets to the point where we're like, why are you censoring us? Why are you banning us? Why are you doing all of this? And you go, because they put their flag in all of these debates back here and kept marching forward under the assumptions that they were at least one of the few things they're actually consistent about is that they're marching forward. It's not just a futile exercise. It's not just the merry-go-round. They shoot horses, don't they? Round and round and round we go. When conservative people move forward, nobody knows. And we've been dragged along for the ride, and we're surprised. It's like I've said, conservatism as an ideology is like pumping the brakes on the clown car, but not jumping out the clown car and realizing, dude, dang son, this is a bad thing. Because the clown car's going, 120 miles an hour over a cliff. And they're like, well, we're just pumping the brakes. We're taking it slower. And, little bit by little bit, we got to acclimate to, And then people are going over the edge of a cliff and going, oh my gosh, why are we going over a cliff? Didn't you see the clowns all around? Wasn't it feeling squished in there? Did you hear that music? Didn't you hear it? I'm tired of playing the game, man. I won't do it. I am tired of that. Not doing it anymore. All right. So we're going back to the screen here. Let's see here. Shirley, I'm going to start mailing you something every month. Love you guys. Oh, by the way, grateful for that. Grateful for that. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure because otherwise it's going to glitch. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this over. I'm going to take that screen out. Oh, okay. It'll cover that. A little bit more. And by the way, I don't do too much on Telegram other than keep it as kind of a site where I keep it as a site where I just dump stuff. I dump stuff in there, and for the next day on the show. But definitely appreciate it. In fact, let's get off this camera here. There we go. All right. So yeah. Shirley says she's going to start mailing us stuff every single month. You can do that too. If you don't want to mail it, because I know some people, they would prefer to use PayPal or anything like that. PayPal.me/Paleocrat. It's a good one. James says, Jeremiah, we are not Mohammedans. Okay, yes. I know what you're talking about, man. I know what you're talking about. John says, I've been reading Eat, Fast, Feast by Jay Richards. Dude, I'd be interested in hearing more about that. And yes, of course, you're the one who asked about Exodus 90. Oh, wow, okay. I went back quite a ways here. Oh, goodness, look at this. So, okay, so somebody was asking me where, okay, Latin said, what exactly does Paleocrat mean? It's taken from two words, the first being ancient or old, okay? And the other one being rule or authority. And so it'd be the ancient authority or the old rule. And it's based on, originally it's based on the idea of the book of Jeremiah talking about the two paths. Take the ancient path. And I have that. You can actually go if you want. I think it's just Jeremiah. I think it's paleocratdiaries.com/about. So if you go to the website, paleocratdiaries.com/about, it gives a background. And I need to update that because I don't even think that, I don't think that some of the things that I'm doing now, including Holy Faith Media, I don't think that that's even in there. Phil says, hey, I'm a keto IF guy, intermittent fasting guy too. I lost 70 pounds. Dude, congratulations, man. Yeah, I'm trying to lose about 30 pounds, 35. I lost 70 pounds when I started fasting and eating the ketogenic diet. I reversed type 2 diabetes in 90 days. My health markers get better all the time. I am low carb for life. Dude, congratulations. Keep that up, by the way. Diabetes is a messed up thing, man. My dad suffers from that. And you got to be strict, man. People got to be real strict when it comes to that because it's a killer. I mean, it's wicked bad. John says, by the way, listening to you as I finish my move into our country, I'm assuming country home, okay, moved out to the country, smaller town than Door, really? So you're talking real tiny, man. You're talking real tiny town. Super, super, super tiny. I'm glad you were tuned in, by the way. I'm glad that you kept on going with that. My intro to keto and intermittent fasting came from Catholic Answers apologist Jimmy Akin and his story of weight loss. I've heard that too. Let's see. John says, William Wallace, freedom. yeah. The Kamala Harris. What do you want, little girl? Freedom. Oh, we got to draw a cartoon of that, man. We got to draw a cartoon of that. Okay, Latin, check many sources, research, and pray to see the truth. Totally true. And, and I would add, follow the church, follow the wisdom of the church. Because people can pray to find the truth, but the problem with that is that there's a lot of people who are like, oh, man, I prayed a lot, and the Trinity is not real. And it's like, ooh, okay, I'm hearing you. I'm pretty dumb. Okay, James Marone says, password 123. Was that what people were saying was John Podesta's? He said, what? Latin says, what if a writer was sending us clues that they hate working for her and set her up with a lie of a story? What if she herself set it up because they're being intimidated into the salami show? Are you talking about Hillary Clinton? You talking about Hillary Clinton? I think she was part of it, man, if that's what you're talking about. Part of the scheme, to concoct the whole Russian thing to make it sound like, and by the way, it may have actually been a mix of one or two things. Either she was involved in purely concocting this story to her benefit, maybe even with the assistance of Russians, or she was duped by them. Either way, she was the propaganda. She was the Russian influence, by the way. Let's see here. John says, I believe without question what the CDC says, but you religious people have the blind faith. Talking about, yes. How often do you hear that? How often do you hear that, man? Yeah. You hear it all the time. Scientific people don't like to think they're scientific. And they like to think, oh, man, I'm reasonable. I'm logical. I'm rational. I'm all these things. And you're like, no, you are a rationalist. Okay? And you suck at logic. You suck at logic. You suck at even recognizing so much of the cognitive dissonance that floats around between, I don't know, the old eardrums. Cherie says this war will rival the Civil War and both world wars. That's a good possibility, by the way. We should prepare. Latin Patriot, and I don't mean to just like say that and move on, but I touch on that all the time. We absolutely are looking down the barrel of a really, really crazy gun. Latin Patriot, weird, man. Sorry service. Sorry service. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm really grateful for that. The $4. $4. And you're seeing here, do you see, everybody see this? You see those bright blue things there? What that is, he just donated $1.99 for that, and that will go to yours truly, and everything that goes to yours truly goes to mine truly, which are my children, and the continued education at the school. You can do that. I don't think you can do that at Paleocrat yet. There's still, YouTube is still right now. YouTube is still checking to verify whether or not I can be monetized. It's been like 2.5 weeks now. So I don't know. They might be like, we're more considering banning you. I pushed the line, dude. I'm not playing around. Zach, it has always irritated me when I see conservative, non-playable characters support the police no matter what. The police are necessary, but in a liberal city, the police will also be liberal and support liberalism. And they'll enforce it no matter what, won't they, Zach? They will. I mean, rarely ever will they not. How many stand down orders did we see when BLM was going through the streets? How many stand down orders did we see? And situations with the Proud Boys, they might have hundreds of people on duty, all of them undercover, wearing different clothes, up in sniper positions, by the way. Admitted, even in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Let's see here. Let's see here. John says it's endgame time. Again, I believe this, man. I agree. It's an endgame. And that's because the clash of civilizations, the clash of the cultures where those civilizations come from. When, by the way, when it's in a sick mode a little bit, when that happens, the idea is there's always an end game in mind. There's always the organic nature of these things is driving, whether we like to think so or not. And that's why it's always been a reasonable discussion to ask what comes after a republic, what comes after capitalism. What is it? That's why it's reasonable. Latin, dude, $6. I'm grateful, man. Thank you very much. I'm wondering if you're a dude. I'm assuming so. I hope that I haven't been calling a lady a dude. But it's just my default thing there with Latin Patriot. So, too bad this is on too early for me to watch live regularly. Where are you, by the way? Is it work? What is it, man? What is it? And I can do stuff eventually. We're planning on doing more where the show will rebroadcast, and it would be a bummer in a way because I wouldn't be able to engage in real time or on the show, but I would be in the comments section. And so I would engage with you in the comment section itself, which in some ways I can go way, long form conversation, real deep stuff, links, share links and things like that. Craig Jenkins, hashtag save the children. Oh, totally. It's good to see you, by the way, Craig A. Jenkins Jr. Super grateful for that. Let's see. Lastly, prepare your mind and heart for what is about to come. Oh, and somebody wanted to know any word on DC goings on. No, I know people going down there. I also know that there are numerous patriot groups that are seriously reconsidering it. I had zero intention of really going. I had a lot of people ask me, not only because of money, not only because of time. It would be great to go, but because I am not very confident in this one. I'm not very confident in this, and I'm thinking this is set up to be a bad situation. And people have to remember there was a time where Charlottesville was just a bunch of Unite the Right folks. Unite the Right, man. We have free speech people and all this. And at the end of the day, and you can go and look at analysis of that event to find out provocateurs. They're deep staters, man. Deep stater provocateurs that were there. And you go, man, look at the craziness with that. And you know what? All of human history will remember that day, not as a day of Unite the Right with a bunch of different groups, and that's true, but it will remember it as the brand that everybody refers to simply as Charlottesville. And I have a feeling that that's the kind of thing that's going to be going on with this. Not only because you're going to have an enormous number of people from various patriot groups all across the country, but possibly even the President of the United States himself. And the idea that it's going to be an all-out confrontation. They don't need to get right to the stage. They just simply need to poison the well. And if I went, I'd probably wear a mask if I went. I wouldn't want cameras all over the place with me with that event. Rachel, my wife, and I just moved out of the country. Okay, I had to get out of the city. I agree with you. All right, guys. I don't know if my family can hear me, man. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm going to find out if they can hear me. If they can, I'm going to have them come back down. And again, while they're coming down here, if they do, okay, let me go ahead and take the chat screen off. And let me take that off. Okay. So remember that we have links in the comment section. So no matter where you are, just scroll up to the comment section and you'll be able to see this. Okay. You'll be able to see the Straight to the Dome mug that my wife made. That's one side of the mug. Okay. And you can find that the Zazzle description, it should be available tomorrow. They said it takes about 24 hours for it to become available. There are currently two different mugs. One of them, I think they're both 20 ounces, I think. So you got a cup number 1 Straight to the Dome, and on the other side of that is the original Paleocrat Diaries logo right there. And we're actually going to make it so that you can either pick that one or the one with me screaming into the microphone with the blue behind me. It's an actual picture that hasn't been kind of cartoonified with that. And then here's the other one. This is, I love this. This is Paleocrat Diaries Wolf Pack. My son Ambrose made that. And okay, so the family's upstairs. They're not able to come down. So so the thing is, Ambrose made this. Drew the picture. You got the family, the Team Tiny Dancer crew here at Paleocrat Diaries. Team Tiny Dancer. If you would like to know more about that story, you can find that on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Paleocrat. We have, in fact, an entire playlist dedicated to it. I must warn you, however, that you're going to need a box of tissues. It's super powerful. It's the story of our family's experiences with our daughter's life and death with childhood brain cancer, and how God ultimately used that tragic experience, beautifully tragic and tragically beautiful experience, to lead us back to the Catholic faith. And so we talk about that, and you can see a lot of those, and I'll be sharing a lot of those on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Jeremiah.Bannister. Of course, it's Paleocrat over there as well. So go check that out. The links are in the comment section, so you can scroll up wherever you are. And there should be 2 links. Both of them are the Zazzle links. And as I said, tomorrow, within 24 hours, I think, you should be able to look up Paleocrat Diaries on Zazzle, and you'll be able to see it. And we're going to add it, of course, to paleocratdiaries.com. All right. Love you guys. I love this show. Not gonna lie. I love this show. Every single day. What an amazing way to wake up. What an amazing day. What an amazing way to spend your day. Learning. Being motivated. Growling into microphone. Karen says she's watching again. That she loves my honesty. Look, thank you. You might be talking about what I admitted to at the beginning of the show. But no matter what, look, you can become a member, $5 a month. You can subscribe, it's free. You can send donations to PayPal, paypal.me/Paleocrat. You can do all of those things. You can even send money. We have people who do that. But just sharing it and tuning in and engaging, that's more than enough. Share with your friends, your family, your classmates, your coworkers, doesn't matter. Share, share, share. It spreads all over. Let people know that you love the show and you howl at the sun every day, because as we commit to and as we say at the end, when we salute you, never give up, keep on smiling, and memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge. Maybe a funeral procession.